Have you ever heard the MCG like that? Are you kidding me? Yeah, are you kidding me? The Carlton gods must be crazy.
Wow. What a result, ladies and gents. What a result. Just came home from the game. Late finish, of course, but gee whiz, was it worth it? Was it worth it indeed? Would have loved to have done a little bit of a watch along with all of you out there, but to revel in it, as you can hear, my voice is a little bit hoarse, as it always is, recording so soon after, a match, but let alone a match like that. And that result, incredible. Absolutely incredible. One for the ages, really. I mean, in the context of the game, what was at stake, it was not just a normal game, a normal matchup. I mean, it's against a team that arguably has been a bit of a thorn in our sides in recent times. So first and foremost, to get the win over them in that context was great. But in terms of what was on the line, if we did not win this game, if we did not win this game, we would have been 1 foot out of the top 10 contention and probably our season done. But to have the level-headedness, to have the confidence, the belief, which is almost a theme across the season now to date, the belief, it was such a big thing and it carried us a long, long way. A long, long way. There's a scoreline in the end. St Kilda 8-14-62 to Carlton 16-10, 106. Broke the 100-point mark again. And conversion rate. More goals than behinds. It's a common theme. It's a trend now under our man. I'm going to call him our man because, gee whiz, we're hoping he sticks around for the long haul in Josh Fraser. And it's Fraser ball. It really is. It is Fraser ball. The way he is having us play, getting the results, but the way and manner in which we're getting about these wins really is something special. Ladies and gents, thanks for joining us on such a late occasion. Of course, it's ticked over past midnight, but I just had to. I mean, raw reactions. We haven't done it for a fair while now, for a number of weeks. In fact, I can't even recall the last time we did it. It may have been early days when Fraser took over, but I just felt as though it was a momentous occasion to really celebrate and have you jump on. So that is the concept of raw reactions, not just to hear from me, which of course you will hear from me with my full breakdown analysis in my post-match review of this game coming up over the next day or so. But now's an opportunity for you to jump on. Let us know your thoughts. And to do so, all you need to do is click the link in the chat here, the StreamYard link. Click on that. You'll be patched through to the back end, the virtual green room, and we will have you on. And more than happy to have you on. Let us know your thoughts. That's what we're here for, not just me. We will do that, go through all of my thoughts and whatnot, as I said, in the post-match review in great detail. But if you are just keen to chat also in the chat, you can also do just that, which our man, Rainer, our big supporter, number one ticket holder, as he always has been, across the journey here on Bluebaggers Edge from the get-go. He says good evening and good morning indeed to you as well, kind sir. Great game. I'd love to hear from you, Rainer, as to what your thoughts were about this game in particular. I mean, it had it all. I mean, from the get-go, and surprising in terms of just the margin, 44 points. I had to do a double take because when the siren went, I actually, it fell throughout that it was kind of like a win of around about 25 points or thereabouts. It was kind of like a constant sort of margin throughout the entire game. And I didn't really realize that we kicked away as much as we did. And I don't know if that just speaks to the confidence in the team, which is awfully refreshing. But normally you're on the edge of your seat and you're like, can we kick away? Can we actually, have a bit of a percentage booster? But I was almost lulled into a false sense of security in a sense that it's kind of in terms of not realizing, the margin being as big as what it was. And to have that 44-point win in the context again of our aspirations to make a wild card spot, it is so, so important because I'll bring the letter up in a moment, but it's, I think, around about 2% or thereabouts separating us with St Kilda. Now, we are now 2 games ahead of St Kilda. All we need to do is hopefully they lose one of their 2 games and we're in. Or alternatively, if they win the next 2 games, we need to at least win one of our games. So again, destiny is still in our hands, which was the title of our pre-match or our preview into this game. And first step was winning this game, which we did. Big tick. But now we want to really do it off our own bat because I think historically under Michael Voss anyway, we've been more so reliant upon other teams faltering. And even when the destiny has been in our hands, I mean, think back to, 2022, when we fumbled the bag, so to speak. Lost, I think it was Melbourne, Adelaide, and of course Collingwood, which was very, very heartbreaking, of course, the Jamie Elliott game. But here we are, destiny in our hands, and we've grasped it with both hands. We really have, and run away with it as big as we have. Craziness, absolute craziness. Rainer, I echo those thoughts. Fucking hate. I don't know what it is. I mean, they've never really been a threat overall, apart from obviously 2010 era, 2008, 2009, sort of across those 3 years, they were arguably one of the best teams, if not the best team in the competition. But it went down to Collingwood, Geelong. To us, I think they've always been a bit of a nuisance. Nothing more than that. I was looking back historically. I was chatting with my father-in-law this evening about, obviously, he's of the vintage that can remember back in the day of when St Kilda was our bunny. We would beat them year after year. And at Princess Park, I think we had around about a 17-game winning streak or something ridiculous. And it was only obviously in the early 2000s when we had the, post-salary cap, saga and the stripping of draft picks and all that sort of stuff, where we went on a bit of a consecutive loss to St Kilda. And of course, that was the era when they were becoming good and everything else. But it's been a team for me, St Kilda, that has always been someone that I haven't respected. A team that really has annoyed me off the back of largely the tip rat himself in Stephen Milne, that player that would always kick bags against us. But to get the win against them, it was really weird. Tonight I was like obviously celebrating, but I was like, it was almost as if we just swept them aside. It was like kind of like without a second thought. That was me anyway. But previously I was kind of like, when we would get a close win against them, I'd just be getting up and about and almost on par with like the win that we'd get against Collingwood and the feelings you'd get, with a win against them. But as you said, Rainer, now won 12 quarters in a row. Yep. Exactly right. One of the big stats, and we've won 10 of our past 12 games. So one of the more informed teams of the competition, I think since Fraser's taken over anyway, we are the second most informed team in the competition, which is insane to think about. Like, we were 1-8 up until Vossi got given the arse. I can't recall. I mean, you could probably think back to 2020. What was it? 2023? Geez, every season's kind of blending into one in a sense that it's kind of like the year that we turned things around. 2023, that was it. That was the season, wasn't it? Started slow, turned things around, but this is something different. The ingredients to this season, something fresh, something new, and teams can't counter. They really can't. Of course, we do have Jack in the green room, which will bring him in a quick moment. We'll just quickly go through these comments first and foremost. But if you have joined us late, you are more than welcome. This is War Reactions. We've brought it back for the first time in a while. I think for the first time potentially since Fraser's taken over. So exciting times. This is the link in the chat. I think I've just added in an extra extra backslash then by accident. So let me just delete that and put that back in the chat. So just disregard that. So click on that link and you will be filtered through to the green room. We'll be going for around about maybe 40 minutes or thereabouts in total. So there is time to jump on. Of course, I think Terry's still doing his fan cam. So if you haven't been able to get on there, you can jump on here. And there is, given that we just have started the stream, some free spots. So feel free to jump on in. He's that man, Chef Jack. We'll punch him through in a quick moment. Rainer, the whole team was on the same page and another 4-quarter effort. That is the theme under Fraser, the 4-quarter consistency that we haven't seen. We have not seen, I don't think, since 2023. Thinking back to the latter part of the season, we're coming home with a head full of steam, really. St Kilda started in 1871 and only one flag, says Rainer. How miserable to be a St Kilda supporter. Now, my wonderful wife, Ash, who, as you would know, Rainer, we do our Thursday double edge live stream, which for those of you, if you don't not across it, check it out. We do it every Thursday evening, post game. And we were chatting about how to categorize the St Kilda supporter base. But I don't think it actually went live because we were going through some technical difficulties. We had buffering issues, all that sort of stuff. And I don't think it actually went out because not many people responded. And at the time, we're like, what's going on? But looked it back and it wasn't actually put out. But Collingwood, obviously, Bogans, working class historically. Essendon, kind of a bit of affluent potentially. Then you've got St Kilda. And we're trying to work out how to categorize their supporter base. And speaking to my father-in-law, he said back in the day, a lot of commission flats around the area, Moorabbin, and a lot of really, what would you call them, filthy supporters, supporters that would love a biff and, yeah, sort of on the wrong side of the tracks, you could probably say. So, with that, I guess lack of success comes a lot of anger, a lot of crime. So we'll maybe put them in that basket there. Rainer, yes, Andrew from Andrew Ellie from Ball of Truth, a ripping lad, 2023. Yep, exactly. And that is the link. So let's patch through that man himself. Chef Jack, are you ready, kind sir? Just give us a thumbs up if you are ready. He is ready. Let's patch him through. Ladies and gents, feel free to jump through into the green room whilst Jack himself is on. But the great man, here he is. G'day, mate. How are you?
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, not too bad. Thank you.
No worries. I'll just pop my headset on just in case there's any feedback because we were having that.
I've taken stereo off. There's no stereo on. I've taken that off because I know you get the echo.
Oh, you're all across it. Good man. What did you make of tonight's victory, mate? In one word, 2 words, what would you summarize it as?
Well, the first quarter was a bit up and down, really, if you think about it. Second quarter, we improved a bit. After half time, when St Kilda got those early goals or early goal, I thought, oh, here we go. I'm like Rainer, and I hate St Kilda. I hate them with a passion. But I just want to give a shout out to some lesser lights here. Cooper Lord, Frankie Evans, who ran 500 metres plus tonight, and I don't think he's done that in his life, right?
Frankie was elite, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. I think at one stage there he had 10 assists, I do believe.
I think he finished with 12 in the end.
It was a 12
scoring involvements, yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. And, he signed a 2-year contract during the week, so you got to do something, I suppose, eh? But no, look, I thought Cripps was quiet. Walsh came back into the game after half-time. Hewitt's just unbelievable. I mean, you got to hit yourself on the head to think, what on earth was Voss thinking? I can go back to that. And I mean, come on,
Jack. I think we've got the echoes happening again.
I can
hear myself coming back through.
I got no stereo on, bro. My stereo's on.
Rainer says echoes. I can hear myself as well.
There's no echo. I got stereo off. There shouldn't be an echo.
I don't know what's doing. It always happens when you're on. I don't know what it is.
No, I've taken stereo off. I've got it on mono, so you don't get an echo. Really? An echo?
Yeah, maybe try now.
Hang on a minute. Wait one tick.
You might have been looping through.
No. I've got YouTube muted as well, so there shouldn't really be any echo.
Yeah, it's strange. Can you hear that as well, Rainer? Yeah, Echo Beach. Yeah, they're hearing it as well.
Really?
Yeah, so it's an echo because they can hear me twice over.
But I've got my stereos off. It's I've got echo cancellation off. If I
I'll just put you in the green room for a second and see if it fixes it.
I'll drop down, man. I'll drop down. I'm not gonna.
You're all good. You're all good.
No. I'm not gonna. If it's gonna affect people, like I said, I got. Look, if I put my echo cancellation, if I turn my echo cancellation off, and I speak now, you're gonna get an echo for sure. For sure, 100%. Yeah, they'll hear it in the chat on YouTube. Now you'll get. Now I've taken echo cancellation off. Because when I do my live streams, I have to put stereo on because we got singers and all that sort of stuff. So it's in stereo. But this will be echoing now. But if I turn it off now, I'll take it off and put echo cancellation back on, there shouldn't be an echo. Can you still hear an echo?
I don't know what's... Yeah, because I can hear myself coming through my headphones, which is weird.
That could be from your end.
Yeah, I'll put you in the green room and I'll just see if it happens still. 1 second. So, ladies and gents, can you hear any echo? No. Let us know if you can, because I can't hear myself now, which is good. But I think it might be on the end of Jack, because every time I have him on, I don't know what it is. It might be just one of the settings, but I can't even think, because I'm on video mode myself. So there's no echo. Were you hearing the echo when Jack was on, Rainer? So could you hear myself twice? Which is weird, but anyway, I don't know what the actual setting would be. It's very strange, very, very strange. But we'll see if was it happening when Jack was on, Rainer, and we'll get up. Of course, we'll go through. Heard you twice. Yep. So there we go. It was happening when I was on, Jack. So I don't know what the setting would be that you've got on. The VCam split I think you're using, but I don't know what it would be. Yeah, it's happening to Oz as well, Jack. Apologies, mate. We'll see if we can fix it. We might try and patch you back through again, if it happens. Echo cancel. Yeah, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's a setting within. Are you talking about StreamYard, Jack? Echo cancellation. Oh, yeah, no, it doesn't really do much in... are you using so what's the program you're using to jump on? Because it says XSplit VCam. Because I imagine it probably would be through that program you're using. If you're using for example, like an OBS, the settings in whatever you're using would probably conflict with the StreamYard. At a guess, I'm not too sure. Video only. Okay. Can you just patch through without the XSplit VCam setting you're using? Because it might be... Because I think you're using a background and stuff, which I think would be through the program you're using. Is that right? Or is that through... Anyway, we'll see if we can fix it, Jack, and we might try and get you back through. Just let me know. Only video. Okay. Are you using a browser? Are you using like Safari or... Firefox or one of those? Chrome, okay. And you're not using a separate software like OBS or something to patch in? It's only, no, okay. It's very strange. I don't know what it is. Because I don't know what that says on your screen there. It says XCam or something. So I don't know. Yeah, it's happening every time I patch you through. I can hear myself. That's very strange. I don't know. Anyway, ladies and gents, we'll see if Jack can fix it. If not, videos. Can you disable that video software? Because that's what it would be that's conflicting. Yeah, I know it's no audio. I reckon it'd be something to do with that conflicting with StreamYard. Anyway, ladies and gents, we'll leave the technical. Yeah, turn your cam off and see if that works, and we might try and patch you back through. All right, now. No, we can still hear it.
Still hear it?
Yep. So you see every time I talk on your screen, there's a little bubble that moves.
Yep.
Yeah, it shouldn't be doing that.
All right, I'll drop down. Anyway,
sorry, apologies, Jack.
That's all right. It's a good win, this and that. We're going to make the 10. Let's all be happy.
Exactly right. I love it, mate.
That's all I could say. we're happy with and Josh Fraser's got to get the job surely.
I'll just stay quiet, and you can have a bit of a spiel, mate.
It's all good. I'm happy to go on the chat, mate. I'm happy to jump
no
down.
worries. No worries.
I don't want to bother anyone with this. It's never happened before, so like I said, I've got echo cancellation off in StreamYard, so it shouldn't. Really, if I had stereo one, it'll be well worse.
Yeah, that's strange. No worries. All good. All good. Thanks. Anyway, Jack.
No worries. Thank you very much. I'll see you later.
See you, mate. Apologies, ladies and gents. Don't know what it was, but apologies we couldn't have you on, Jack, for a bit of back and forth. But the offer is there if you want to come on and have a bit of a spiel for a couple of minutes, and I just won't speak, so there's no feedback. But it looks as though there's feedback every time I speak, I think. I don't know if it's feedback when I'm not speaking, but anyway, let us know, ladies and gents. If you have joined us late, it is, of course, Raw Reactions, and you are more than welcome to join us. It's all about you. Gauge your thoughts. Jack gave a little bit of his, a bit of a worry in terms of St Kilda, because we absolutely, maybe despise is a little bit of a strong word, but we don't really like St Kilda. Yeah, there you go, Jack. Yeah, you can hear it. Yeah, very, very strange. That's my only thought is it's to do with the software you're using. If you're just patching in via Chrome if you have a plugin enabled, that plugin may be conflicting. But yeah, very, very strong. I don't know if it happens with, well, it wouldn't happen with Terry because Terry doesn't use StreamYard anymore. I think he uses a different Restream, I think it might be, or another streaming platform. But anyway, that's that. Well, let's just quickly go through, ladies and gents. As I said, this is the link to jump on. So click on that and you will be patched through to the green room. You are the sound of God. Talking to that guy, there you go. So it sounds as if it's echoing. So we don't like that. But Oz, applies to you, mate. If you want to jump on for a bit of a yarn, feel free. The floor is yours. Now, we will, of course, as I said, go through in great detail with our post-match review video separate to this. But let's just go through. I mean, just the top line. It was, again, a pretty complete performance across the board. Not as complete, obviously, as what we were against Brisbane, but I think there were some standout players that stood out head and shoulders amongst the rest. And it was very strange because I don't know if the players thought that there was like a post-match, I guess, award that was going to be giving a medal, like a Spud medal or something. I don't know, but everyone sort of congregated and I was like, oh, here we go. And the first name that came to mind, obviously, was this man here, not Sammy Walsh, this man. The man who finished with the highest rating on the ground, I think it was like 130 odd rating points. He had the triple-double, 613 meters gained for the game, which for him, I think might actually be the maybe career best. That would be a guess, but I can't recall him actually eclipsing 600 meters gained before. This is a guy who, again, much maligned back in, a couple of seasons ago, turned things around, and this guy is not just a solid contributor, but someone who is a consistent contributor week in, week out. And I reckon Michael Voss would be sitting on the sidelines on his couch and seeing what Frankie Evans is putting out week in, week out. And he is the archetype. He is the prototype, whatever you want to call it, for that pressure forward that he had a hard on for across his tenure coaching Carlton. But he was absolutely incredible tonight. So 613 metres gained, 22 disposals, 4 tackles, 8 marks, 1 goal, 1. But more than that. Let's just have a look at the My Stats, as I like to sort of categorise players here and break it down a little bit further. So inside 50s, Frankie Boy, 12 inside 50s, double the player who was the next best in Sammy Walsh with 6. 8 marks, as I said, 4 tackles, 15 pressure acts, right up there. And we're missing some of the stats here because there was a triple-double. Where is the man? Where is he? Frankie Boy. 12 inside 50s. 10 score involvements. That's what I'm looking for. 10 score involvements, which is, again, team high. 10 score involvements, 12 inside 50s, 22 disposals, 1 goal, 1. And you are spot on. Absolutely spot on there, Rayner. The meters gained is absolutely insane for a small forward. Off the charts. Off the charts good. Jack, totally agree. Best game he's played for us. I think the most complete game, like talking in terms of the role that he plays. You know, small forwards are always rated upon, you know, how much impact they can have on the scoreboard. But in the modern game, obviously, it comes down to, you know, their pressure, their tackling pressure, you know, everything else. Their contested work, tackling and, you know, containing the ball inside 50. But he was more than that tonight. He spread up the ground. He impacted. He moved the ball. The two-way running was an element that it was almost like he took to another level. It was really, really good. Really good. And, bruh, thanks for joining us. Best on ground. Absolutely best on ground. And the word to summarize it perfectly there, Oz, workhorse. That was his game. Categorize that workhorse performance. And Oz didn't see the game due to work, but you can see those stats. That is a workhorse performance. Again, in the context of his role. He's not a midfielder. He's not a player playing off half-back with those meters gained, like a Florent or a Billy Wilson. He is virtually a small to mid-sized forward. To have those meters gained just exemplifies the work that he did around the ground. Now, as you said, Rayner there, just harping back to an earlier comment that we've missed, Lewis Young might have kicked himself out of the team for Weeders. Kicked himself out in terms of his, I think, performance in front of goal. He dropped a couple of easy marks as well. But his kicking up forward, left much to be desired. And I'm a fan of Youngie. I mean, his past couple of weeks, he's looked real good. Maybe extended to 3 weeks. So he's built himself a body of work. But for me, I think he can probably give himself a stay of execution. But to me, it comes down to either Lewis Young or Dirksen. And I think Dirksen's actually had a pretty decent body of work as well in recent times. You could probably argue that the flexibility that Lewis Young gives us in terms of being able to play in defence, up forward, and in the ruck is like a pure utility is more important than what Dirksen provides. Whereas Weeders for Dirksen is more like for like. Tall defender for a tall defender. Obviously different stratosphere of quality. But Lewis Young, in terms of performance tonight, he was probably one of our lower rated players without being too harsh. So I think you're probably right there, Rayner. Based upon performance and output, I think Lewis probably will find himself out of the team. It means structurally, I think that Harry would go back into the ruck. Do we want to open ourselves up to that? Which, I mean, mind you, we were doing that in Harry's return, having him in the ruck is sort of the relief. Do we want to run the risk of potentially him re-injuring his knee by being that relief ruck? Or do we alternatively try and play someone else in the ruck? Do we potentially bring, Liam Reedy back into the team, if need be? Facing the Dogs, mind you, they're going to be without English, potentially out for the season. So projecting ahead, I think we can get away with Pitnet, Sol Ruckman, and Harry pinch hitting, if need be. But against Freo, Mason Cox, Luke Jackson, that's probably, the game where you would think about maybe bringing in that second ruck. And probably where Lewis Young would provide more work and more of a chop out in the ruck. But I think you're probably right there, Rayner. You're probably right. Oz, player that left for the Saints on big dollars. His name escapes me. Sadly, he won't see a flag at St Kilda. Now, if you're referring to TDK, I don't have any hate whatsoever, no malice towards TDK, because in his situation, no matter, because I think he was actually a St Kilda supporter growing up, but I think that aside, he actually wanted to stick around at Carlton, but the money was too good to refuse. Someone of his age, so early, really relatively early in his career, you'd be silly to turn that money down. As a absolute nuffy Carlton supporter that I am, in his shoes, I think I probably would take it as well. Set yourself up for life. Maybe then I'd probably request a trade after a few seasons back to Carlton, but that's beside the point. But for him, I think with the money that he's being given, gee whiz, take it. Take it. Had a bit of a stinger during the game as well, TDK. And I thought, here we go. Milk it for what it's worth. Milk it for what it's worth, because tying up that sort of money in their salary cap on one player, so dumb. So dumb. But if you are referring to Oz, the Nepo baby, if you want to call him that, we can. Jack. I mean, he has actually had a pretty decent season, must admit. Any malice aside, he's had a decent season for the Saints, which he was doing for us in defense. So no real surprise there. But one thing I want to show, and hopefully I don't get flagged for copyright here, but it's being played through, of course, Twitter. And it was the classic account, Carlton Blues fans. Because this is the point where Sauce spilt a mark. I don't know if you saw this. I didn't see it because I was obviously at the game. But this is it. This sums up and really warms the cockles of your heart, because have a look who they pan to in the crowd and the look on his face. Let's have a look.
Might be able to get through Silva. Yes, he hangs on.
Have a look at this. Now, I dropped the mark. Fans gone off their nut. Have a look at Sauce. Of course it wasn't paid. It spilled out of his arms. Have a look at this. Let's just leave it on that for a second. Have a look at that head. Have a look at that. Nothing sweeter, is there? Nothing sweeter. My word. I'm actually surprised he's at the game to watch his son play footy. He's never really there to watch Jack when he was playing at Carlton anyway. But absolute pisser. Absolute pisser. Now, just having a look back through, see that there? See the ball spill out? Hits the turf, back into his arms. That is not a mark. Coming out of his arms right there. See that? In his arms, falls out, hits the turf, bang, into his arms. That's where it hit the turf. Not there, where it spilt out and he juggled it and then marked it. Or grabbed it. He didn't really complete a mark. But that wasn't a mark. So, quite funny. Umpire rightfully said, no mark. And here he is. Shaking your head. Should be shaking your head at the fact that you should be playing at Carlton still. And you won't be seeing a flag in the red, white, and black. So, eat it. Now, yeah, of course, speaking to, let's get back to that man. Top of the list, Frankie Evans. Blue collar right there, 100%. Now, his heat map. Let's have a look if we can find it. Now, I don't know if they actually have it here because the AFL website is a piece of shit. There is a website that I know I can grab it from. So just bear with me, footyscores.net, and we will grab it. Now, this is a website I use for a lot of stats, especially Supercoach. Heat maps. Let's have a quick squeeze. Frankie Boy Evans, they must have known. They must have known. This is his heat map. Have a look at that, patrolling the wings through the corridor. He hardly was seen inside forward 50. He really was playing a high half-forward role. Very rarely was he actually having... He had 2 possessions inside forward 50. As many as what he had in half-back. So a great game, and really shows the workhorse mentality, as you mentioned there, Oz. Hudson O'Keefe in for Young. I'm not a fan of Hudson. I think Hudson O'Keefe's done, personally. He's had enough opportunities. I know he's young, but we really don't need him, I don't think. And with Weeders coming back, Young was kind of brought in as, yes, a bit of a utility, but I think brought in as someone to help, be a bit of a block the dam type thing with Weeders out. Good point there, Rainer. Dirk Ruckton, the two. And I think Dirksen could really show himself to be more of that utility. I mean, he's obviously played up forward, and something I'd love to see as well going forward is Dirksen up forward. A lot of forward there that I spoke about. But I'd love to see him. He's tall enough. He's got the size about him. Decent leap. So a really good call there, Rainer. and very solid overhead indeed. Chef Jack, if you win the last 2 games, has to be some sort of a record for an interim coach. I think it is. Like, in terms of his performance, I mean, the last interim coach to win a flag was the one who took over from Alan Jeans, I think it was, for Hawthorn back in the day. And yeah, ended up winning a flag. So there we go. Rayner, 1.7 mil and 950K for Tom and Jack plus Miller on 2+ million. Yeah, Miller in every sense of the word there. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think it was Jack. Looking at the slow-mo. Live, I thought it was actually pretty... I thought the same thing. It might have been a mark, but on the replay, umpire actually did a pretty good job there. G'day, Tim. We better off with someone at another club, plus TDK and Jack chasing money. Better off with... Oh, you're talking about SOS, yeah, as in son of Stephen, of course. Unreal, exactly. This is the heat map. For anyone joining us late, heat map of Frankie Boy Evans. Crazy. Pardon the pun, but Hock is too young to dismiss yet. Yeah, I think we've got to get rid of some players, I think, end of season. And I know he's a tall player and tall players take longer to develop, but in my eyes, and probably goes against him, I know it hasn't really worked because he was drafted as a ruckman and we've tried to mould him into a tall forward. So he's kind of still learning the craft. So I understand that. But, you know, in terms of being cutthroat, yeah, we could probably keep him on the list for depth. But in my eyes, I just don't know if he'll stick around just to free up a spot. But who knows? Yes, the man who filled in for Alan Jeans. Yep, that's who I'm referring to. And yes, indeed, spot on, Oz. 3 top 10 picks, Sauce butchered. Yeah, he did. And that's why Sauce, I mean, post on-field career, Sauce, of course, Stephen, absolutely, I think, was part of the downfall, outside, of course, of the salary cap breaches, coinciding with a point in our history when we had the likes of Stephen himself, you know, Kilda, Rats, Braddles, all those big name players retiring, and kind of like West Coast at the moment, they had their top end players all old. They retired and fell away. Our young brigade, we didn't really have any. And then compounding things, we didn't have the draft picks as all taken away from us due to the salary cap breaches. And, you know, having Sauce there as list manager, butchering those top 10 picks, that just delayed things. So the work that he did off-field, if you want to call it work, just really set us back even further. So in my eyes, yeah, he's... I'm glad that he's no longer at the club. Let's just put it that way. Tim, so much looking forward to Hoff, more than Hock. Indeed, the Hoff himself, he is an absolute gun. It's just such a shame. Again, young players doing their ACL, Jagger, Hoff, and Carroll, just crazy. I mean, yes, there is Motlop, but I think Motlop is up against it, especially now with the rise of the Bunsen burner, as I like to call him, in Taylor Burns. So, you know, we've had a fair share of youngsters have their roadblocks, if you want to call it that. But yeah, some crazy stuff in terms of the development of youngsters that has been fast-tracked in recent seasons. It's looked amazing. Outside of course, Frankie Boy Evans, who I think far and away was our best player. I think we can all agree on that. In the midfield, it was hard to kind of put a finger on who our best was. Pitnet, I think, outside of... I mean, I was surprised that he actually had 25 hitouts because TDK, superior leap, obviously. But I think given the difference in athleticism, and TDK should have been putting on a bit of a clinic in the ruck, Pitnet actually did a great job at holding his own. So many moments where he was outbodying TDK. And there was a moment there where TDK actually tried to push Pitnet out of his way to try and take an intercept mark inside our forward 50. And Pitnet did not even move. It was like trying to move the Hulk. Pitnet actually didn't move at all with Pitnet trying to move him. And instead of moving Pitnet, TDK actually fell backwards. Such was the size and strength, as he says, of Pitnet. So Quite funny. Took the mark, Pitto, of course, and converted the shot on goal. 2 goals. 2 goals. A great performance with Pitto. Really did the impact on the scoreboard, which, if you're going to get beaten in the ruck, beat him around the ground and beat him up forward. So Pitto, tip of the old cap to you. And I think he was probably second, maybe third in line for our best. A really great game from him. Walshy, it was kind of like a bit of a okay game. He had 7 clearances, the equal most, alongside Pitto, mind you. Cripper, yeah, he did a couple of nice things here and there. And Georgie Boy Hewitt, again, a bit of a nothing game, I think, from him. He didn't really do too much. And Jagger, I think Jagger was interesting because he only had 68% time on ground, which makes me think, where we were sitting, it was kind of like just up. We were kind of on the, we were kind of between the wing and the pocket, or the flank, I should say. And Jagger was on and off the bench, which, as you can see there, had the lowest time on ground for us in total. So I don't know if they were managing him. Heap of rotations. Still had 21 disposals, which was great, but didn't do too much, I don't think, in tight around the ground. He had 240 metres gained. Was okay. Only 1 goal assist. But yeah, for me, it was the work from the man himself in Frankie that really set us up. Really set us up. I think Hainsey, of those defenders, great game from him. Really, I think he stood out for me, head and shoulders above the rest. 13 marks, 20 disposals, a really, really solid contribution from him. The rest of the players, I think Dirksen did a couple of nice things, couple of silly errors as well, but with Durko, I think he's kind of still learning the ropes and doing an admirable job. I'll say that. I didn't really notice Cotters, must admit. Garv kicked 2 goals, 1. Started, I think, like a house on fire, and then really petered out as the game went on. Mukau, he did some great things. Good game from him nonetheless. Bunsen Burner, his tackling and his pressure around the ground. Geez, he's looking really good. I would love to see with Bunsen, love to see him in the middle, which he was kind of pushing up the ground to almost be like an extra midfielder at times. And his ability to really burst through the pack was incredible. And I don't know about you, but it seems as though every time that we play St Kilda, every time we play them, they're overly physical. Overly physical. And as you said there, Jack, Byrne is a beauty. He brings back that pressure twofold. He's like a little human cannonball. He really is. Throws his body in, small stature, doesn't give a shit. And I think he actually put a bit of hit on, might have been Wilkie at one stage near where we were sitting. And I was impressed. I was like, small bloke on a big-bodied, tall guy. I'm like, this guy, he just has that real hard edge to him, which I love. Absolutely. Yeah, and Pitto summarised brilliantly, Tim. Has a point to prove. I had a point to prove in this game. And he needed it. He needed to prove that point because in recent weeks, he's kind of fallen away, must admit. He started the season on fire, and he's just kind of whittled away bit by bit, unfortunately. Ladies and gents, if you are joining us late, we've got 16 people joining us now, so thank you so much. This is, of course, if you are tuning in for the first time, don't forget to give us a like, give us a subscribe as well. We do these live streams every Thursday as well. We do a live stream preview heading into the games. Of course, there's only 2 games remaining. Hopefully more if we make the wild card. But you can tune in. We have a double-edged Thursdays. Myself and my evenly nuffy Carlton wife in Ash, we do our preview and chat about all news about Carlton, trade news, coaching news, all that sort of stuff. So don't forget to give us a like, give us a sub, and we do appreciate your love and support in advance. But tonight is the Raw Reactions. So basically, this isn't my full summary, my post-match review. This will be in a separate video. I'll be going through the stats and putting out some highlights as well, which I am doing in recent times. I found a way sneakily to put the match highlights in my post-match review, so make sure to check them out. And I like to sort of identify visually, and that's kind of the little bonus that you get here with watching our content on YouTube, as opposed to we are available as an audio podcast as well, Spotify, iTunes, all that sort of stuff. But the edge, as we like to call it, on YouTube is looking at the key moments via the match broadcast vision. So check that out. But tonight, Raw Reactions, it is over to you. So click on that link, StreamYard link, and you will be patched through to the green room in the back section. So kind of like fan cams, but our own little sort of twist on it. We like to do these post-match and chat through things with your fine selves. So click on that if you are keen to jump on. We will be going for another maybe 20 minutes. We might extend it for. So there is still a heap of time. There's no one in the green room. There is no one in the back end. It's just me chatting to all of you out there. So feel free to jump on and you will be patched through straight away. Reno will have nearly 3 million cap space next year, which I hope we don't bugger up. And speaking to that, not buggering it up, I mean, if we were to bugger it up, we would do so easily by throwing that money at someone like an Amadi. Do not get Amadi. Please do not get Amadi. If you're going to use that money, you might as well draft me as a key forward. I'm 173 centimeters. I would probably give you more contribution consistently, which is what Amadi really struggles with anyway. So please do not get him. But that would be, in essence, a way to bugger things up and waste money. But I am really excited. I'm excited to see what we can do. An incredible job, really. Nick Austin, I don't know. I mean, he's parting of ways with the club. I'd love to know more behind that. Now, I did see a tweet from his wife, believe it or not, on Twitter as of last week. Someone made a tweet. It might have been Nick Negropontis. I can't pronounce his surname, but he does some work on, I think it's used to be SEN. I think he's doing some stuff now for, might be Channel 9, Wide World of Sports, all that sort of stuff. But he made a comment about Nick Austin and the incredible work he's done at the draft as a list manager, of course, speaking directly to Jagger Smith. And his wife actually replied and said, it's good to see they replaced him with someone of equal quality, or words to that effect. And I was like, interesting. Kind of gives a little bit of an insight into the potential, I guess, circumstances around Nick Austin's departure, which, again, I don't really understand because I think he's done an incredible job. He's been harshly criticised, and I think unfairly so. A lot of the criticism has come during that period, especially the early part of the season when Michael Voss was virtually leading us into the abyss, and solely Michael Voss, because we can see that now with a decent coach at the helm, has us performing as we are with the same list plus some youngsters. But I just want to know the circumstances around that because I think he's a really great list manager, highly rated, came from the Bulldogs, and I think he's done an incredible job, but we just don't know the full details there. But intriguing to see who we go for because we haven't really been in the market for a free agent for a long while. For a long, long while. Since, I guess, Zach Williams. Yeah, he looks like he was rested in game, and that kind of speaks to it in terms of his time on ground. There were many times there where he was being motioned back to the bench, and I think there was one stage there where he was kind of trying to ignore the sign that was being held up, and while she was calling out to him, so he was within earshot, and he was just like, fuck, and just like, smacked his hand together like, because I think he did something that didn't perhaps come off with a disposal and was hard on himself, but he knew that he's being rotated and had minimal sort of opportunity or window to impact the game. But as I said, 68% time on ground, 21 disposals, still pretty good by those standards there, but didn't quite have the impact of recent games. But we can understand that, and we can, give him a bit of a week off, considering he did win the best on ground medal last week. Robert Wall's medal, of course. Stephen did set our club back by at least 15 years as natural attrition played a small part in the decline that lasted longer than it should. Yep, exactly. And I think there's a lot of oversight with that. Like, people are quick to criticise Mick Agresta in recent times, Nick Austin after him, and all those guys have now departed. But now with hindsight, I think we can see now who's really had that negative impact on the club and the list build overall. And I think it's pretty obvious, that's for sure. Again, ladies and gents, this is the StreamYard link. We'll be going for another just under 20 minutes now. So if you are keen to jump on, this is Raw Reactions, and it is virtually a concept that sort of leverages off you guys out there. Of course, it's great to have everyone joining us in the chat, but if someone wants to jump on and chat, person to person, mano a mano, over video, please, now is your chance to do so. There is no one in the green room in the back end, and apologies, Zach, because I know they've got some AV technical difficulties to have you on because there is a bit of a feedback loop. I don't know what it is. But outside of that, there is no one in the green room. So if you want to jump on, you'll be patched through straight away. Agresta was pushed out and then Austin followed. Yeah, it sure seems that way. I think Agresta now, I think he had ambitions beyond being a list manager or beyond being a recruiter, because I don't know if you know this, but he's actually a player agent now. He's actually gone into the other side of things now. So he's actually a player agent for Billy Wilson, believe it or not, as one of a few players that he manages. So I think that was kind of like a bit of a mutual parting of ways, but Austin has been really, really a strange one. Yeah, there's a bit of a contention there, Rainer, with regards to Nick Austin. The club was saying virtually that he quit, someone on his own terms. Nick Austin came out and virtually said that isn't the way things played out. And then it kind of suggests that he was sacked or pushed out the door, which I'd love to know the reasons behind that. I really would. Tim, who knows what Wright had in mind regarding Austin's replacement? And it speaks to me that, and again, speaking to what his wife was tweeting, that potentially they had someone in mind to try and headhunt. Now, I think there was the bloke from Hawthorn, it may have been. I can't recall his name, but that may have been the recruiter that Wright was sort of eyeing off, and maybe it hasn't come off, and we've prematurely gotten rid of Austin. So I wonder if there was a handshake agreement between Wright and this recruiter, and I don't know if they're waiting for postseason for things to be passed over, but if that's the case, even so, surely you don't get rid of your current list manager unless you've got definitive sort of ideas around it actually happening. So I hope it isn't the case where we've gotten rid of Austin prematurely and the man we had in mind isn't actually coming across. That would really be a kick in the dick. Oz, I'm off to snooze. It's been a long day. Good night, folks. Thank you for joining us, mate. We will be wrapping things up in around about 15 minutes or so, so we'll be doing likewise as well. Go Blues indeed as well, mate, and thank you so much for joining us. Really do appreciate your company. But ladies and gents, again, this is the StreamYard link. We will, of course, go through the game in greater detail. Now, I'm going to hold off with regards to delving into stats, everything else, but we might actually play some of Fraser's post-match presser without, of course, the vision, because if we play the vision with the audio, we will be flagged for copyright. So, ladies and gents, we will play some of that because I'd love to hear what the media is saying. So that will take off around about 10 minutes. But during that time, if you are keen, as I said, to jump on, click on the StreamYard link in the chat, and you will be patched through to have a little bit of a yarn. And we'll wrap things up with you on camera. Tim, we were much better off with what Austin did over Sauce. 100%. 100%. And he hasn't just done a great job. He's done a better job than Sauce. He's done an incredible job, I think, in his own right. So, pardon the pun, his own right. So, ladies and gents, we might play the vision. We'll pop up a graphic on screen so we don't actually get flagged. Let me just find a way to get it up on screen whilst. Let's see if... So I think you can still hear me over this, but I'm trying to think of a way to put me on screen. Full screen layout, solid layout. No, it's not working. Photo blaze. Nope. I'm trying to get a way... Okay, this might work. Oh, no, maybe not. This won't work. I'm just trying to work out how to play the presser with... I mean, you can have me on screen if you want, but don't really need me on screen necessarily. Let's just see if I can add a camera slot and put me on screen. There we go. Move layer to the forwards, to the front. And we will add on screen. Alrighty. So, ladies and gents, we're going to play the G'day Vital. How are you, mates? Thanks for joining us. If you joined us late, as I said, this is Raw Reactions. If you are keen to jump on, click on the link and you will be patched through. We're just about to play the press conference from that man in Josh Fraser. So let us know in the chat if you can hear his presser, and we will continue on. I think we'll just pop up with an ad first and foremost. So just muting that for now because it's playing an ad in the background. But But I'm just trying to put myself on screen. So if people jump in late, they don't think that we're actually just gone to standby mode. Let's see if this. Okay, Josh is playing now. We'll just pick up the audio in right now. Here we are. Here he is.
Straight bats. When are you going to put your hat in the ring to be a Carlton coach?
You're going to get another straight bat, Tom?
Let us know if you can hear the audio.
Tonight is to not make it about me if possible. And the reason I say that is that it's a terrific night for our footy club. Our AFLW girls got a win tonight, and you see the work that they put in consistently. And on field, it was another step forward for our playing group. I do appreciate the questions around me, but right now I feel a lot of gratitude for the people that surround me and incredible coaching staff and people internally. And I think a lot of the credit around tonight's performance should be shared.
Do you and the club feel the love from the fans and everyone around the place at the moment?
Yeah, I think that's real. And we've spoken about that. We want to play a style of football that energises our fans. We've been open about that. And I think each week it's just felt like that energy is built a little bit more. And it plays a part. Our players love playing in front of our supporters. They turn up unconditionally. And, that energy that we've created through them has been a real thing for us.
What's it like hearing "We Want Fraser" from Carlton fans when you're coming down and just being showered in love by this fan base that's clearly bought into everything that you've done?
Yeah, if I'm brutally honest, I'm not comfortable with it purely because I feel like I'm a product of, again, a lot of people around me, but I appreciate it. I appreciate that they feel connected to us as a club at the moment. I think that's a really important thing for us moving forward. And we live in reality that we've got work in front of us, and we've got to continue to build our style and build something that's sustainable.
Cheers, Timmy.
I absolutely appreciate the sentiment and the well wishes.
Yeah, he's very selfless, isn't he? That's what I love. That's a trait that I love about individuals in general, but not just coaches and whatnot.
Yeah, well, again, you talk about being a product of so many great people. The work that goes into a day like today is huge. A lot of people that probably don't get enough credit for the work that happens behind the scenes. But it was fantastic to turn up and watch girls play an exciting brand of footy as well. And again, I've seen the work that they've put in. They're in the building daily, and they're a really important part of our footy club. So to connect their performance and our performance combined with the crowd tonight was special to be a part of.
Josh, you must be starting to daring to dream about making finals now. At 1-8, everyone probably wrote the season off, or a lot of people had.
Yeah.
And now you're one win away.
Yeah. I don't know about daring to dream. I think the thing that's taking us forward is we are just attaching ourselves to the work that we need to do. Pre-game I was asked about us being red hot favourites, and I don't look at that. I just go, well, we've just got to make sure we turn up game day prepared and prepare as well as we possibly can. And I guess that's one of the things that's pleased me enormously, because we're coming up against quality opposition, and you do week in and week out. This competition's hard to win in. So you've got to be good enough and prepared enough to take things away from other teams, and then you've got to be good enough and prepared enough to play your style of football. And I think that's the space that we've grown in. Maybe in the past the club's ridden that wave of outcomes. I'm a bit more around what we can build and make sustainable.
Is it exciting for the players that they're just going to win one more game and they are in?
I haven't asked them, but they don't live under rocks. I'm sure they've got a high awareness of where this all sits in the scheme of things. But we just spoke then. I think it's important we sit in the wins for a little bit, but not ride this wave. Enjoy what tonight represented, understand how we got the result, and then get back to work. But group's got a lot of resilience. I think that
Totally agree,
in terms
Jack.
of credit, I think our playing group deserves a lot of credit.
He's always saying it's the players, which I love.
Hamstring going affect the complexion of this game?
Yeah,
It's huge. It's you, Fraser.
We know the talent that he possesses
very humble.
and what he does for them, and we had some plans for him tonight. Hopefully his injury's not severe, but yeah, clearly when you lose a key player like that, it plays into your advantage. But we still had to be good enough to get the job done. But there's no doubt he would have assisted their performance.
How pleased were you, I guess, with this?
Without Voss, we wouldn't have had Fraser. That's the only way he's contributed.
Such high stakes.
Yeah, again, it's the consistency we're trying to build. And it's been about managing momentum when we don't have it and managing momentum when we do. But also the connection piece on field, I think, has been really important to us. And that's part of that's getting your job done, but part of that's helping someone else to get their job done. And I think that's another space where we're growing.
Josh, how much of this do you think is momentum and how much of this do you think is real?
Yes, Rainer. One thing I love not seeing
because I see the work that's
Michael Voss.
put in. Now, performances and
Give me
results
nightmares.
don't guarantee anything next week. We have to be good enough to review the game in a balanced fashion and get to work on parts of the game that we need to and continue to reinforce and highlight the things that we're doing well. I see it as a relatively simple formula, but I think we've been consistent enough in what our Monday to Friday looks like now for a while for me to think that we're building something, but we're far from finished.
What about the equal contribution across the board with the team? Josh, it seems like over the last few weeks, last week against Brisbane, once again tonight, you're getting a more consistent equal contribution across the board and not solely relying on some of the prime movers in the team.
Yeah, it's a brilliant point. And I think that's the growth in this group where we're not heavily reliant on three or four individuals. We are starting to spread that load. And importantly, our leaders are starting to empower others as well.
Harry was another player as well I didn't speak about.
Do miraculous things at
Played a
certain
great
times. It just looks like it's an even spread of contributors and players playing their role. So that's been pleasing.
And defensively, like you over the last 10 weeks, you're really, you're third in terms of your score, the way that you're defending the ground. You've only, I think it's about 76 points on average over the last 10 weeks that you've conceded. That must be impressive from your point of view, the way that they're going.
Yeah, we've people point to our offense, and our offense has grown, but we've done a lot of work in linking our offense and defense together and how we defend the ground and how that.
Yeah, defensive 50 to forward 50 percentage. That's gone off the charts.
Leading, what our defensive system looks like, but it's our coaching group again. We
Florent, Billy Wilson,
an equal buy-in to the way we want to go about that, and I think being able to link those phases has helped our players.
How pleasing was it that you dominated the ball in terms of possession, but on the other side, you also really consistently won.
Exactly, Rainer. That's virtually all that's carried across from the Voss era.
Absolutely. I think that's
which we already has a strength anyway. I think
goals have been great, and I've been more energised personally by the pressure we're applying to teams, and being okay to sit in an arm wrestle at times and not necessarily have the
it was
game
insane.
on terms. I think that's been an
classic
aspect that I've
Harry.
enjoyed seeing our players work through. The relentless pressure and one after the other, that sort of stuff, and then just the connected system defensively. All lines contributing, and it's not perfect. We've but it's grown. So, but the tackle pressure and source pressure has been an important thing for us.
Josh, you said you want this success to be sustainable. You're not the finished product or all that sort of stuff. I mean, it must be tempting to see this through beyond next year.
Exactly, Josh. Stick around.
Under your leadership, and clearly a change of game plan.
Yeah. So my
game plan, big one.
My mandate, if you like, when I took over was to help the club be better placed at the end of this journey, and that's where I sit with that and we're all invested in that. Now, the coaching group, the playing group, our high performance staff, we all want to make sure this club is successful into the future, and what that looks like futuristically is hard to know, but what we can control is what it looks like now, and that's the part I play in all of that.
Does that call for you? I know you said don't make it about you, but that call for you and what you want to do in terms of throwing out, does it come as soon as tomorrow? Do you give yourself a bit more time to sit in? You said it was going to be this week.
If it's tomorrow,
I
my
think
word.
At some stage this week, they'll.
I think he's got this week to do it.
Conversations with the club. I think I referenced last week that got pushed back a week, and I'm thankful to the club for that. It'll be sometime this week. Yeah.
Have you had a chance to just sit back and pause and reflect on the job you've actually done? I mean, there's 100,000 Carlton fans out there that are clearly beaming with happiness at the moment.
Yeah, I'm happy that again they feel so connected to what we're doing. Not in any great depth. I'll move on pretty quick where I need to. I think we've still got a job in front of us. But moments like post-game where you're in the rooms with the players and you see the joy that a performance like that brings to people, they're the little moments you have to reflect. But it makes you hungry and determined to want it again. So you understand you've got to get back to work. So that's sort of, that's the way I go about it.
Jacob Wiedering got through the VFL today. How did he go, and how do you sort of navigate now getting him back in the defence when it's been so rock solid without him?
Yeah, it was great to see him progress and get some time through the VFL. I'm not going to sit here and do selection for next week now, but he'll come into consideration and
come into consideration.
So I think that's been a positive that we've
you're a funny man,
taken
Fraser.
the best approach for the player each week and the best approach for the team.
Josh, there's part of me thinking that you might go for the job and potentially miss out ahead of maybe a wild card game, which is something that hasn't really been a possibility for the last few weeks. Is that coming to your mind?
No, it's a fair question, but no, I haven't thought too deeply about that. I've just tried to stay as narrow as I can, and it's been challenging with a lot of the questioning and different things. But I'd still feel such a responsibility to this role as interim coach, and I just think that that's what I needed to and have focused all of my energy on, because I would be doing a disservice not only to our players but our staff and everyone if I started to stray away from that. Clearly, I've had to think through some things, but that hasn't occupied a lot of my thinking, and all the hypotheticals haven't either. It's most of my energy has been focused on this playing group and footy club.
Spent a bit of time off the ground to start the second half. He came back on, but is he okay?
Yeah, he's okay. Yeah, he's fine. Yeah. We tried to manage a few guys at different stages of the game, but he's completely fine. Yeah. He was bloody good, wasn't he? Yeah,
Frankie Evans. Yeah, boy.
He's a guy at pre-season, having come back to the club over summer.
Yeah,
He's
injured.
So reliable with the
In
system.
the pre-season,
and
remember?
And all those things. And I think even last week, he wasn't huge in terms of possessions, but his tackle and pressure and those sorts of things that he just brings, he's been fantastic. He's had a great season. He's had a really good season. And you combine him with Taylor Byrne in our front half and Benny Ainsworth.
Yeah, Bunsen.
So there's some
Ainsworth had a credible season as well.
Yeah, he's fine. Yeah, Ches is fine. Yeah, we got through unscathed. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
There he is. That is the man himself. It's auto playing Ross Lyon's presser. Do we want to see that? No, not really, not particularly. But there we go. That's words from Fraser post match. He's such a good communicator. It really is. He speaks it all. He's humble. He is, and as you've said there, we'll go through some of the comments from some of you, ladies and gents, joining us in terms of, whoa, what's going on here? What's going on there? And anyway, that's the put us back into shape there. He speaks so well, and like you've said there, Rainer, Fraser has said he's letting the assistants do more coaching and using their inputs. Now, I know we've got a bit of a discussion about Michael Voss here, but what I can say with regards to there's the on-field changes that Fraser's made compared to Michael Voss. Michael Voss, strategically, zero idea. Hence the reason why he saw week after week, kick down the line, even in his commentary, anyone that has caught it, his commentary on Fox Footy, talking about, he's using acronyms, LDLs, which is long down the line. And it was quite funny because Freo, in their game against Melbourne, he was talking about how Freo should be countering the pressure that Melbourne are putting on by kicking LDL, long down the line. Does that sound familiar? That's virtually his game plan that he had for us across majority of seasons coaching Carlton, that he did not want to waver from, which he needed to. And he's a coach that refused to grow, refused to change his style. And you cannot be stubborn or pig-headed as a senior coach. And we've seen many coaches across the journey with those traits not last the journey as a senior coach because of that. Nathan Buckley was one of those. Now, I used to work, for those who don't know, I used to work at Collingwood back from 2015 to 2018. And I can say for a fact that Bucks is one of the nicer guys in footy, and I really enjoyed him as a person, not just as a coach in footy. But he actually admitted that he grew as a coach. Early days, he wasn't getting results, and part of that reason was the fact that he refused to delegate responsibility and empower his assistants. And as he let go of the reins a little bit, he allowed the other assistants to take on some of the responsibility and with that, he grew as a senior coach. Of course, Collingwood went and made the grand final in 2018. They fell short by under a kick. Otherwise, Bucks would be a premiership coach back then. So he is someone, I think, for me, that I saw firsthand grow as a coach. But he still had aspects of that. He still was quite stubborn in his ways. Voss, of course, very stubborn in terms of selection integrity, not having integrity with regards to guys playing with good form in the VFL, not rewarding that, playing Motlop week after week after week, despite not hitting the scoreboard or providing enough pressure as a pressure forward, such as like a Frankie Evans does, as a Taylor Burns does. And is it any coincidence that Fraser came in and rewarded the likes of a Taylor Byrne, a Bunsen Burner, Billy Wilson, and Ison as well, played quite well early on, but guys that have added to the team, youngsters that Voss refused to play. So that is the one thing I think we need to sort of address with regard. I've spoken to it a fair bit on this channel, obviously, with Michael Voss, and have a look back. Season's gone. I was one of the first people to say that Voss needed to really depart and move on, because I'm someone that I'm kind of a bit of an ADHD type character, but with that, I can kind of analyze trends, and I'm a numbers person. I can see that sort of stuff. I'm not saying I'm a Rain Man. I'm not on the spectrum. Maybe I am. Everyone's on the spectrum to some extent, but he showed those signs there where he was not adapting. He was not moving on. And we were showing the same thing week after week after week, and we weren't getting the results, unfortunately. Yes, he's a great person. I'm not saying that, but Voss, as a senior coach, you can't just be in that position to be a motivator. You've got to have, if you're not empowering your assistants, which Michael Voss was not doing, if you do not have the coaching nous, the tactical nous, and you're not empowering your assistants and you're holding the reins tightly, you're not going to get results. So it probably would have been within, I think, probably his best interests to, in terms of selection integrity, open things up, in terms of other assistants pitching in. You can kind of see now, if Fraser and the like were allowed to have their say with regards to the way that Carlton were playing, maybe we would have seen a difference in style. We weren't seeing kick down the line. We weren't seeing a full ground press. We weren't seeing, win the contest at all costs style under Michael Voss that we weren't getting results from. Just with regards to that, I think that Fraser is, there's no doubt that he's being told to toe the company line, everything else. And I think it's he's professional enough, Fraser, to go by that. And I'm sure he's already come to a conclusion. It will break my heart, I will admit, if he says that he is not ready for the job. If that's the case, then it is what it is. And we'll have to grin and bear it. But I mean, gee whiz, it's beyond the point of, getting that sugar hit as you normally get from an interim coach. This is something that, that he's extracting a different juice from players beyond just being an interim coach. Entitled to your opinion there, Tim, 100%. But I think for me, Malthouse, I think of those coaches that you've named, the biggest, what would you call it? Curse, scourge. What's kind of the name for it? Probably scourge on the team. He was culturally negative. He was past it as a coach. He's an old school coach. He was dusty. He was on the shelf, and he really set us back. Pagan, I think he's a one-dimensional coach. Back in the day, I mean, his entire game plan was set around Wayne Carey, and it showed. Coming from there to Carlton, mind you, he took over the team post the salary cap issues, and we lost our draft picks. All of our good players, senior players, retired. So I think he was kind of up against it. Brendan Bolton, I was actually working at Carlton. Now, again, for those people who don't know, I was working at the club. I crossed from Collingwood to Carlton, headed up their media team in terms of their video team, managing the video team there. And I worked closely with Bolts. Now, Bolts is a great character, great bloke. But and I think tactically he had an idea, and he was trying to build something, trying to sort of set the building blocks. And I think what we're talking about with regards to what Voss has left, I would speak about Bolton in those terms there. Seeing firsthand, dealing with him firsthand. The one thing that that Bolton had, that Voss didn't, I think was tactical nous and a long-term outlook of building a game plan. He was trying to build from defence forward. Probably a little bit too slow in terms of trying to build something with the team. The one thing that he lacked was that personable nature. He was very much, I'll teach you this, this, and this, and this, but didn't have the warmth, didn't have the connection with players. And I could feel that with the way that I obviously spoke to him. I was setting up interviews and stuff with players, even with him, and he wasn't the most personable type personality. Let's just put it that way. But a great bloke, nonetheless. Having said that, that's no mark on him at all as a person. David Teague, I think he got ahead of himself. I think he probably was out of his depth. That's probably the good way to speak about it. I'd already left Carlton when Teague came in and took over from Bolton, but I think it was just they didn't do their due diligence, the board, and made a terrible appointment there. But I think Michael Voss, again, and I've said it across the journey, I made a tweet about it the very day that Michael Voss was appointed. I can whack it up on screen if you want. Crystal balling saying that Voss was going to be a failure. And it was due to the process that the club had with regards to choosing him as a coach. They made it public that we needed an experienced coach. The only two experienced coaches that we had on the market was Ross Lyon or Michael Voss. And instead, we kind of pigeonholed ourselves into that mentality. And Michael Voss was virtually a Stephen Bradbury into the role. Didn't have the right quality of experience. Brisbane, what he did there, I know they were a young team, but brought them down almost to the abyss. Levels of what we saw at the early part of this year, 2025 and 2024. Early part of 2024 was great, fell on a heap. 2025 and then early part of 2026 is what we saw. I think was the degradation of Voss and kind of the impact negatively as what he was having on the team. Culturally, the players lost him. He had lost the players. And there was that disconnect. A great player, great communicator, but again, stubborn, pig-headed, didn't want to adapt as a senior coach, despite the fact that the way the game was going, the way the game was being played, was with speed, not at the contest, didn't want to waver away from that. And with that, I was calling for his head in early 2025. And finally, what result? Yep, agree, Jack. Should have been sacked last year, 100%. Bolton, as you've said there, and as I spoke to, it was for development years. Teague, yep, rush move. Malthouse, we sacked Ratton ahead of his time and brought Malthouse on because of the name. Classic Carlton thing, bringing coaches across because of their name and reputation. Pagan, another one. And Voss, another one. We gave him the role based off name, not based on his experience, based upon what he brought to the role at Brisbane. And, yep, very stubborn. Very selfless, letting someone take over this year. Clearly lost some players, but he didn't have a plan B. Yeah, he didn't have a plan B at all. Exactly. But he is someone that I think that was probably the only time that he was selfish. You're right. Was when the club, and now this is kind of what they're saying, and I think there is more to it. I think the club kind of tapped him on the shoulder and said, mate, you're done. You're getting paid now, whether it be now in full or at the end of the year, it doesn't matter. We don't want you at the helm because what we're seeing in terms of results, what we're seeing in terms of the players, what they're putting out on the field, we don't want to see that going forward. He'd lost the players. His game plan was, again, one-dimensional, that he was persisting with week after week after week. We don't want to see that shit. We want to see a coach that is progressive, and that, if he was to have a mutual parting of ways, if Voss was agreeing to that, then that was probably the most selfless that he's shown across the journey, unfortunately. Fraser, plan B, yep, relied on assistance more than Voss, and I think you kind of need to do that in modern-day footy. As I said, when I was working at Collingwood with Nathan Buckley there, that was something that I think helped him across the journey and almost led Collingwood through to a flag. Underrated. You can't be going through old school days where, Kevin Sheedy, Dennis Pagan, you're the head coach, you say what you say goes. It doesn't work like that nowadays. And you might as well sack the assistants if you're not going to use them. Plain and simple. And it did, and I think that's the point where his game plan got worked out. That's the point where his game plan got worked out in that half of the game there. And we saw in 2024, it fell on a heap because every single team knew he was kicking down the line, knew that he wanted us to win the contest, knew that we didn't have any outside runners. And the way that we structure up now, with the same team, same players, but actually more young players, and we're getting better results, speaks to the level of not being able to coach. And they're playing for Fraser, 100%. So I'm just letting my cat out the door here because he wants to get out. So that is Paddy, of course, named after, as you see over my shoulder, the great Paddy Cripps. But yeah, anyway, we'll wrap up this stream in a moment, the chat about Michael Voss, because that's the history, that's the past. We want to be talking forward. We want to be talking about the positives and what we have on the horizon. Yeah, and it's that playing for the coach, I think, is a massive thing. And you get that. You get that with fresh coaches. I know that with interim coaches, but it's beyond that. He's been coaching for 12 games now, and we've won 10 of those 12 games. So he's not just turned this team around. He's turned it around in terms of off-field, on-field, in the locker room. Players have renewed belief. That's the big one. I'm not a fan of Lyon at all. I didn't speak to Lyon. Sorry, I don't know if I've mentioned him, but I think we should have gone down the Adam Kingsley path. Now, some may dispute it and say, well, he's not getting the most out of the Giants, but it depends with the cattle that you've got. I think that he is a better coach tactically than Michael Voss, but I mean, everything happens for a reason. I'm a big fan of that. And if Adam Kingsley was at the helm, he probably would still be coaching, and we wouldn't be in the situation we are now where Josh Fraser is taking the mantle. So for that, I'd probably thank Michael Voss for being given the job and for doing an ordinary job at that, because we wouldn't have what we're seeing at the moment. So there we go. But Ross Lyon, I think Ross Lyon is toxic. Yep, as you've said there, I totally agree with you, Tim. He is someone that is an old school coach, as I spoke about, someone that is stubborn in his ways. I think the way he coaches the team now is the way that he coached St Kilda in his first time round, but also the way that he coached Freo with their horrible defensive setup, and he's still getting that with St Kilda. I think he's adapted a little bit, but they're not going to get results. There is no way they're not going to get results. And that there is something that I think we dodged a bullet with. And yeah, the fact, as you've said there, Rainer, the fact that he wanted the Carlton job without the interview, it exactly comes down to how many flags have you won? How many flags have you won? And even if Horse came to us and said, I want to get the job without an interview. No, I don't care who you are. You go through a process because you run into a lot of issues there. And I feel as though when we actually appointed Michael Voss, as we said, we kind of painted ourselves into a corner by saying we wanted a coach with experience. We only had two options there. We didn't really properly go through a process. And from what I've heard about Adam Kingsley going through the interview, he was pretty pissed off because I reckon we'd already chosen Michael Voss off the back of that. And when we offered him a token gesture of being an assistant at the club, Kingsley was like, go and get. I am not taking that. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. And I blame the board and the higher-ups for not doing the proper process in vetting Michael Voss as a potential candidate. So I think that was part of the big issue there. Rainer, yeah, the Giants' injuries, I mean, they have had bad injuries across the journey, and he's taken them to a grand final against arguably Richmond at their height, at their peak. But yeah, I think that there's a big part to play to it, I think. So yeah, injuries obviously play a massive role. Actually, I'm just trying to think. Who was Leon Cameron? Actually, Leon Cameron, apologies, may have been at the Giants when they made the grand final. Let me just have a quick look. It might have been Cameron. It was Cameron. Apologies. But I think with Kingsley, with what he has to work with, you're right there. I think the injuries don't help things. And I think he's a decent coach, Kingsley. He turned things around with the Giants when he first took over. And yeah, 100%, Tim. Yeah, totally agree there. And I think that's what it comes down to. You have to be 100% invested, and that's what Fraser said all along. And it makes sense. You need to be 100% invested because you're not in there as an interim coach. There's a bit of a difference there. You're in for the long haul. You need to work out if you have the desire, if you have the passion, the belief to think that you can get the best out of the team over the next 5+ years, because that's probably what they will be asking the coaching candidates in their interviews. Like, what can you bring to the role, not just in the short term, but also long term? How are you going to develop youngsters? What do you see in terms of, the younger brigade coming through? How are you going to use player X, player Y, player Z? So there we go. Oh, we have a great man in the back end. Our second, of course, man jumping on for Raw Reactions. Tim, again, board was hopeless, but Voss did the job, and we all entitled to your opinion. But I think, again, the only thing that he's helped us with is pave the way for Fraser to come in, because he did such a shit job, Michael Voss. Great bloke. I work with him. I did a video with him with one of the sponsors, On Time Logistics, which you'll find on their website, and I think it was on LinkedIn. Again, great bloke. I've met him across the journey, but not the sort of guy that you'd want as a coach. Rayner, imagine if all those players didn't leave GWS over the years, and yeah, that didn't help again. Jesse Cameron, Tim Taranto, another one. Cogs has been that constant there, but yeah, I think they should have won at least one flag over the recent seasons. G'day Vital. I think for 25 years our club was being milked. Yeah, being milked, exactly right. And I think we've kind of fucked up. Again, we've gone for coaches with names, with statuses, with standings in the game, more so as players. Talking to Michael Voss there, but even going for a Michael Malthouse, going for a Dennis Pagan, coaches that have had success at other teams, but can't translate that across. So with that, ladies and gents, let's bring in the great man, because I know he's on an absolute bender. He is flying high, and for good reason, as we all are. And he's got a bit of a hard hat, and I'd love to know how he actually got his hands on one of these. It is the great man. It is Atush. How are you, mate?
Mate, living the dream. Because we're 10-2 in the last 12 weeks. Where else would I be?
Mate, how can we not be living the dream? And I like that you got the hard hat on. Now, in celebration, how did you get your hands on one of these sponsored RSEA hard hats?
So shout out the St Kilda cheer squad. If you want your hard hat back, come find me, cuz I'm very easy to find. There was a lot of unhappy St Kilda supporters leaving, and I was like, genuine question, what's with the hard hats? And they were like, I don't know. They were just there on our seats. I'm like, okay, can I have one? And they're like, why? And I'm like, I don't know. I just think it's cool, bro. And I didn't have my Carlton scarf on at the time. Like, I'm a neutral fan. I thought it was cool.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So, anyways, I took it, and then they found out I'm a Carlton supporter. And then I was like, and then they wanted it back, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do anything with it. They're like, are you sure? I'm like, look at this face, bro. Would I ever lie to you? So
not gonna do anything with it. Just gonna wear it on. You've got to wear it like over your next few streams, just to take, at least for the rest of this week up until the next game.
Oh well, bro, I'm gonna keep it. It's gonna go up there on top of my jersey. It's gonna. Well, I already took a photo because I took it off. I'll show you it.
It's kind of like? It's kind of like a trophy that you're putting in the pool room. Oh, there we go. Classic. You know what you should do? Like, this is kind of like, the old school, like safari hunters that have like a head of like a rhino or whatever. Yeah, taxidermy, like trophy, they call them on the wall. This is one of those. So we almost need to get like, I'd love for you to get, what would it be for Collingwood? Even if you could find like a scarf or something like that was left behind, or a sticker. I've actually got like a sticker of Pendle's, what was his 350th or something, which was like, I picked up and it was in my pocket, and I found it in the inside hidden pocket of my jacket. And I'm like, next time we beat them, I'm just going to paste it on the wall there and be like, Pendles, this is for you, mate. So you need something like that, like trophies on the wall of like victims.
Yeah, 100%.
Like Dexter with his blood slides.
We need mementos after everyone. I don't know. Yeah. We'll see what I can find out for the Bulldogs game. But
there we go. Look at this Rayner. Never coming off again.
It may never come off again. So I might sleep with it. Because I haven't slept in 2 days. I haven't slept in 2 days. I went to the VFL went to the AFLW, and I went to the AFL today. So fucking full day, bro. Triple header. And I am so wrecked. But I just came here to say, Josh Fraser, whether you like it or not, you're our coach. We're going to give you money and you're going to coach us and you're going to fucking like it. All right? I don't care. I don't care, bro. You're our coach. There's no like, oh, well, I'm not sure. Like, no. You're our coach, bro.
Yeah. You are our coach. It's done.
Yeah.
It's already done. Like, he's already signed the contract. Not literally, but like spiritually, metaphorically, he's signed the contract. With the 10 wins, 2 losses. Like, mate, that is a contract in itself.
Because have we ever done that? When was the last time we got 10-2?
Fuck. It'd probably have to be the 2023 season, surely. Which we were just riding on spirit and a lot of luck, must admit, but surely that was it.
So that was 9 in a row, and then we lost to the Giants round 24. Then we won against Sydney.
Oh, true, yeah.
10, and then Melbourne 11,
Melbourne,
and then Brisbane. So that's 11-2.
Brisbane.
So Fraser wins 2 these next 2 because he's better than 2023 with a worse list. With a worse
exactly. With more youngsters playing in like the best 23. How, man?
I don't know. Hey, speaking of youngsters, can we talk about how Pitto's not even young? This was a pointless segue. I just really
young
want
at
to talk
heart.
about
Young at heart. So we'll use that as a segue. Young at heart.
Yeah. So can we hurry up and just pay Pitto $1.8 million a year? Just
might as well. We're freed up. We're talking about earlier. We've got about $3 million in the cap freed up. So great call there from Rayner, and you to follow that up with, geez. And I'm just trying to find it. Just scrolling. Oh, here we go. So Rayner said we'll have nearly 3 million cap space next year, which I hope we don't bugger up. Well, we wouldn't be buggering it up, putting on the head of Pitto, surely.
He towelled up 2 of the best ruckmen in the comp, by the way, to the highest paid ruckman in the comp. Like, he beat him up around the ground. So 2 goals, 15 touches, 7 clearances, however many hit outs. I don't remember off the top of my head, but he had more than TDK and Marshall, right? Tom the Coning's on like $40 trillion a year, bro. At the game, the whole time I was there, I was actually on Tom's side. I was like, fucking Tom, do something, bro. Get a hit out. Like, your team's on the precipice of wild card. Do something.
Yeah. Do something, man. Do something. Exactly. Well, I'm just bringing up the stats now so we can see it in the full glory. Now, I actually thought that I was watching Pitto in the ruck, and very smart play from him because, I mean, TDK has the leap where he can leap over bloody buildings. But he was using his body. How about his contested mark inside 50? I was saying earlier, TDK tried to push him out of the way, and it's like, no. You realize who you're messing with. This is Pitto, the immovable object, like the unstoppable force, trying to push him out of the way. And as he pushed Pitto didn't move. You know who moved? TDK by pushing him. He went backwards. And Pitto was like, well, I'm just taking this mark virtually like uncontested because you're out of the situation. It was crazy.
He's so good, bro. He's so strong. That's his strength now, right? And like, he added
he says strength.
Yeah, that's it. That's his nickname. I yell that every time he kicks a goal, all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, he had this thing where he was always strong, not well around the ground. But then early in the year, bro, he had this. He was getting 15 touches. He was kicking 1 or 2 goals, and then we lost
goals. Yeah.
But then he lost it. I don't know what happened. I'm guessing the hand injury, right? We can assume
it's true.
So, but now he's got it back, and what a game to find form. Because he's been pretty poor the last couple of weeks. What a game to find form.
What a game. I mean, it was a game for us that we needed to win in order to keep our chances or elevate our chances into the wildcard spot. But he was one of the catalysts. And who would have thought? I mean, coming to this game, if you asked me players that were the barometer to us winning or losing, I would no way even think about Pitto as being one of those players. Bit of a segue as well, just quickly. I actually probably wouldn't have said Frankie Evans either. I mean, I would have said solid contribution, but the game from Frankie, he went to Hollywood and back. He was absolutely insane.
Bro, I don't know his stats off the top of my head. You're going to bring him up now. I think he had 24
right now.
I think he had 24 touches. It wouldn't surprise me if he had 24 direct goal assists because every time that guy had the ball in hand, it did something fucking magical, bro.
Exactly. Look at the most meters gained, 613 meters gained, the most, almost 200 meters more than Ollie Florent. This is a guy who's a small to mid forward and kind of plays as a high half forward at times, but that's like that up and back running. Like, holy shit, 630 meters gained. That is insane. He was doing it all. He was like elevated his game to like different a different stratosphere. Like, I'm like, where are the strings to this boat, Frankie? Because now you're just like strings upon strings upon strings. But he, like, I think it was Terry made a great point. It was the triple double. So he had 22 disposals. We'll just go through it. 630 meters gained, but that doesn't add to the triple double. Let's just have a look at the advanced stats here. He had 10 score involvements, so the most of the game again, and 12 inside 50s, the most of the game, twice as much as the second best player in Walshy for inside 50s.
Can you just check contested marks of St Kilda players real quick?
Contested marks for Saints, yeah.
Yeah, or both teams.
Oh, wow. Or both teams, yeah. Oops, there we go.
Can you just tell me how many contested marks De Koning had? You know, they were that's on $1 million a year.
Let me scroll down. Let me scroll. Where I can't even see him. Oh, there he is. 0.
And how many contested marks did like 5'4" Frankie Evans, who's on $4 a week, have?
Frankie Evans, he had one. He had one more than him.
Yeah. So I
There we
mean,
go.
what
And
a
Peter with
fucking
2
guy.
as well.
Bro, I'm with you
Both-
100%. I'm sorry, I'm with you 100%, Frankie, man. Like, I came into the year not big on him, you know? Like, I was like, okay, I don't want to buy into the hype too much of last year. You know, that fucking 4-game patch he had? It's like, okay, it was a good patch. And then start of the year, he was okay. He was doing all right, you know? But then, well, the last 2-3 weeks, how long, bro, have we been crying out for that mid-forward connection? That mid-forward conduit piece, the last kick inside 50, you know? Years, bro. I've never seen a player fill that role. The closest we had was Elijah, and he's not at the club. So other than him, it's fucking, bro, we've been starving. It was Fantasia, remember?
Fantasia,
we
yes.
hard, bro. We did
It was
it hard.
Orancio, yeah.
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 So, bro, the fact that he's doing this, you know, the fact that 2 clubs overlooked him like this, and bro, like he does things with the ball, bro. The way he kicks it, there's no woman in the world that can make me feel that way that he does when he kicks the ball. None.
Oh, it just the way he hits up plays. He's such a silky, underrated kick. He really is. I mean, if you look at our other small forward in, of course, as I like to call him, Bunsen in the burner, the way he kicks the footy, his field kicking is second to none for such a young player as well. I'm like, dude, like last week, I went through my review, and one of the highlights that I put up on screen was his kick that he had in I think it was on the flank, kicked virtually down a hallway of players, tightened the boundary, and hit up. I can't recall who it was on the boundary. It might have been Ainsworth or someone, but I was like, a bullet pass, just incredible, under pressure as well. It's just skill set. I mean, since when has a Carlton team had good ball users?
And especially like arguably our bottom 6 players. Like you got look at like contract contract wise, he would be in our bottom 6, you know?
Yep.
He's doing this shit, bro. I've never seen it. I don't know about you. I'm younger than you, obviously. I've never seen it, you know?
Yeah. It's refreshing. It really is refreshing, but I'm waiting for the moment just to be like, when is it? Like, when am I going to wake up? When is this like going to wake up and I'm going to be hearing seeing Michael Voss smiling in post-match presses, as we spoke about earlier. I don't know if you were here with that. Raiden made a good point. I was like, oh shit. Yeah, that was already erased from my memory, but thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, I can't believe we wasted the year with him. Like, there's no point looking back at it now, but like, fuck, can you imagine right now? Obviously, you know, it's a hypothetical, but can you imagine if we were 11-2 to start the year?
I know. Like it's hard as well because it's like we wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't like if Voss wasn't as shit as what he was, we wouldn't have Fraser at the helm. So it's kind of like I always think about like shit situations have a silver lining, and that was our silver lining, was like having this shit part of the year and having to forego seeing the same shit week after week. Long down the line, I don't know if you were here in the chat watching, but Michael Voss's, special commentary on Fox Footy, he was doing it for the Freo game against Melbourne, and Freo under the pump, and he was like, what Freo need to do here is use their LDLs. He uses acronyms, which is long down the line. And I'm like, instant flashback. So I'm like, dude, this is the reason why you're no longer coaching Carlton, is long down the line was your only out, your one and only out. And I'm like, dude, why are you special comments if you're using shit that didn't work?
That is hilarious. I don't know why he's there, bro. Where are you at, bro? Believing in this team? Do you trust? Because I can only speak for myself when I say, bro, I'm 20 years old. I've seen nothing. Like I grew up in the Bolton era. I've never trusted this football club with anything. I wouldn't trust it as far as I could throw Levi Casbolt. Like, so like, but I can I'm happy to say now, and again, I can only speak for myself. I trust this club. Like, there's no longer danger games. When there's that bogey team, when like St Kilda, perfect example. We should have we beat them by 40. We should have beat them by 40. This wasn't like an amazing performance. We should have done this, and I believe the whole way through. And even going into the game, there was no part of me that was like, "Oh, I'm not sure." Like maybe they'll get over us here. Maybe we won't show up. I believe that we'll show up every week. Are you there yet? Or?
I think I am. I came into tonight's game like normally. I said at the start, at like the top of this live stream, that the first thing I said was heading into it, I felt as if St Kilda haven't really been a contender or like a serious team, but to us in recent times have been a bogey team. But for the first time in a long while with a bogey team, I didn't go into the game with much stress or much worry. And then you actually put on top of that like the stakes that were on this game. Like if we were to lose this game, virtually our season's done. But I didn't even factor that in. It was kind of like, for the first time in a long while, I feel as though I can breathe easy as a Carlton supporter. Like I'm not going into every single game worried that we're going to as we saw in the early part of this year and like late last year and seasons prior to that, where we were faltering wins, like wins that we should have been sealing, like, putting the foot down on the throat of the opposition, and losing games. Like that's kind of dissipated. That's disappeared out of our game. But now it's at the point where we're kind of seeing a solid contribution across the board, not just from a select number of players and Harry, Cripper, Walshy, Weeders, like the spine of our team. And then we have all these supposed role players that aren't playing their role. We've now elevated to a point where we're no longer having to rely upon Cripper. Like Cripper can have a week off. Like I felt last week against the Lions, he had a bit of a week off. Yeah.
You shit. Yeah.
But it's crazy to think that like we're doing that now without having him put us on his back and actually get the win for us. It was like in the past, even when Charlie was there, when Harry, like they're working in tandem, if those guys weren't kicking like 5+ goals a game, each or collectively, we weren't winning games. But now it's like Charlie's not there. Who gives a shit? There's a hole, sure. But even now to the point where if Harry's only kicking 2 goals, it doesn't matter. We have contributors outside of him, like Frankie kicking goals, Bunsen kicking goals, Kemp even kicking goals. Like last week, I think for me was the culmination of like the perfect, like putting Carlton on a pedestal, like 6 goals a quarter across the 4 quarters in every quarter, and then having 16 individual goal scorers. I was like, I literally cannot recall a time, even close to 16. I mean, it was a equal league record and a record for us. But I can't recall a team in the past for Carlton coming even close to that in terms of even contributors on the scoreboard. It was just, I think, a real flashpoint for me that I was like, and that's probably part of the reason now going to this game, I was like, stress-free. I'm not getting overawed by the stakes of what's on the line here. So it's good. Like, I mean, obviously a little bit older than you. And I was 7 years old when we last won a flag, but I wasn't of the age to appreciate the flag then. So it kind of feels like, so I'm 38. So
yeah,
be a bit of an old fart now. Yeah. But it feels as though I haven't tasted success because of that, because I wasn't old enough to appreciate it. And my wife, she's 5 years younger than me, and she obviously hasn't tasted success either. So we're kind of at the point where we've rode the waves, but a lot of the wave has been like low tide when we're talking about waves when it comes to Carlton and success. Like we've been through the shitter and back.
It's like winning 3 games in a row. We're up and about, bro.
Yeah, exactly. That's our like definition of success. So it really feels like, I mean, for you, 100%, you're younger than me, that you've seen less seasons of footy than me. Like you said, you remember like your early days, your early memories was Brendan Bolton. Like I was working at the club back when Brendan Bolton was coach, back in 2018. Yeah. And I was chatting about it earlier in terms of comparing, I think it was Tim, I don't know if you were here when we were chatting about that. Tim was chatting about, Pagan, Teague, Bolton, and he's entitled to his opinion. He was saying that he preferred Voss ahead of the likes. This is the comment here. He preferred Voss ahead of the likes of Teague, Bolton, Malthouse, Pagan. I think Malthouse speaks for itself. He's the dregs. He was so shit culturally, past it. Pagan, he took over the club. I mean, he's probably before your time, he wouldn't remember, but he took over the club pretty much the season that we were done for salary cap breaches.
Yeah.
And at that point, all of our aging stars retired. Kuda, Sauce, Ange Christou, like all the guns, Rats, Braddles. And he was a coach I think was probably one-dimensional anyway, because without Wayne Carey there, he wouldn't have probably won the flags that he did. But a great team that he coached, North Melbourne back in the day, but couldn't translate it across to Carlton. Malthouse shit. Bolton, he was there when I was there, and I said he was a great bloke. I think tactically he was trying to put building blocks together. He was kind of doing defense first, but a slow like application, which it doesn't work in senior footy. You've got to like be adaptive and everything. So I think he was kind of slow, but had the right ideas, but didn't have the communication as a coach. Like I remember dealing with him firsthand to set up interviews with him, with players. Very not cold, but
timid.
There's a word for it's probably like spectrum almost. Probably say that.
Yeah.
So I mean, everyone's on the spectrum, but he kind of, in terms of the social side of things, connection with players, he lacked. But teaching background, so I mean, he's had some element of it, but wasn't the most receptive, warm, all that sort of stuff, which you kind of need in today's modern game. But Teague, I think he was kind of appointed without enough due diligence done. I mean, he kind of just was out of his depth, I think. And then Voss, as we know, great communicator, supposedly. Great bloke. I've met him. Really nice bloke, but tactically just didn't have it, and stubborn, didn't want to adapt his game plan, as you know, across the past 3 seasons at least that he was at the helm. But I think for what we're seeing with Fraser, he's the complete package. He really is. So humble. We played his press conference earlier. I don't know if you heard it or very humble.
Bro, he just speaks with conviction. Like he is like he's the epitome of being calm. No, like so. Like I'll tell you a story, right? This is the difference between him and Voss, and this just shows like the difference of characters, right? So our match reviews used to be 3.5 hours long. Did you know that under Voss? After a loss or a win, roughly between 3 and 3.5 hours long. How long do you think they are under Fraser?
Oh, you probably do 45 minutes to an hour, if that, or even less than that, if you wanted to.
30, max 30.
Yeah,
bro.
30. Yep.
In and out by 30 minutes. You know, like that's how meticulous and like I don't even know if meticulous is the right word because that's a compliment. No, I don't know what it is with Voss. Like he just overanalyzed everything, and I think Voss lost it when he stopped playing to his edge. His edge was just contested footy. He had a brain for contested footy like no one else had. And that's because he is Michael Voss, bro. He's one of the greatest contested players of all time. He moved away from that in 2025. He went like, okay, we're going to like play from the back half and build it up, which is like, it's the correct way to play. Don't get me wrong. But if you don't know how to play it and you're learning a system yourself, how do you expect to teach others, you know?
Exactly.
So, and also I agree 100% with the comments with Chef Jack. Shout out Chef. Pagan never had the cattle. None of those other coaches ever had the cattle. Like, bro, David Teague's midfield was like Patrick Cripps, a very, very young Sam Walsh, and fucking Sam Petrescu-Seaton. His forward line was like Matthew Wright, Charlie Kerner with one knee that will play once every 35 years. You know, like it's not comparable. Voss had fucking superstars, and I'll die on this hill. With 100%. A coach, we would have won 2 flags with that list.
Well, we're talking about blokes that won like Charlie and Harry, like Coleman medals, dual Coleman medals. In the case of Charlie, and it was like you got a Brownlow medalist now, dual Brownlow medalist in Cripper. You've got a Rising Star winner in Walshy. You've got Wiedering, All-Australian fullback. Like, that's a spine that I think you can really do some damage with and almost win a flag with. Like, the fact that he wasn't getting results with that spine of a team, I think says enough. It comes down to, as a coach, whether or not you have a list. And I know you kind of need players around them as well, like role players, definitely. But that's where I think the development side of thing comes into it, and playing players in the right positions, that is a big one. And we saw across the journey, like we brought Adam Sard into the team. I always use him as a classic example, but breaks the lines when he was at the Dons, incredible. His first year at the club, incredible. And then all of a sudden, he was played as a lockdown defender. And where was that run and carry? Wasn't allowed to do it. And we didn't have anyone driving off halfback. And that led to a lot of the reason why we didn't have that. And Fraser spoke to it in the press conference tonight, because one of the journos spoke about the connection between defense and forward. And he was like, you really need to build on that. And that's one of the things that he's implemented, I think. Like our ability to go from defensive 50 to forward 50, like our percentage transition is in the positives for the first time consistently for a long, long while. And it was always something that was a disconnect under Michael Voss. But again, that's just an example there. One player, Adam Sard. And development's a big part of that, and we didn't really see much of that. But yeah, as you've said there, Rayner as well, need to run and carry and break the lines when you're under the pump. And that's the way you do it. The connection piece between the forward and connection piece, that's the role that Frankie Boy played tonight as a high half forward, ran up to the wing. I'll put his heat map. I don't know if you saw it earlier, but his heat map, have you checked it out?
I haven't. Is this going to be good?
I'll delight you. It is a thing of beauty. It really is a thing of beauty. Let me go round 22. I'm just having a look on Footy Scores, great website. There we go now. So if we do heat maps, and it already knows Frankie Boy Evans that we want him because he's pre-selected. Check out that shit. Wait, hold on 1 second. That's it there.
Wow.
He only had 2 disposals inside forward 50. He virtually roamed like the corridor, like the wings virtually across the center. Like he was the driver inside forward 50.
You know what that is, though? That is the Jesse Motlop role from last year.
Yeah, exactly.
If you look at his heat maps, Motlop would get like fucking 5 touches a game, but like it would look very identical to that.
That's the role.
Like,
yeah.
So I'm glad we found someone to fill it. And Frankie, bro, it's him, it's Ainsworth, that high half forward role as well. Ainsworth has kicked like 24, 25 goals this year.
Oh, so, no, exactly right. Full Grim, sorry, apologies. Full Grim, Timmy, thank you so much, mate, for the contribution. Really do appreciate your support. But he says, tell only Carlton up the baggers.
Because I've been saying it all night. Don't worry. That's my voice. My voice is a bit gone. I've literally gone on a football bender today. Literally a football bender, bro. I woke up 9 o'clock.
Drunk.
I woke up 9 o'clock, went to the VFL, saw us lose. Went to the AFLW. Literally, you know how calm I was going into this game, right? I have this thing where if we play at night, bro, I don't do anything throughout the day. I spend my day waiting for the game to start. So I'll be like, I'll just procrastinate. I'll just
locked
be like, in my room. Yeah, I'll wait for it. But today I was fucking chilling. Bro, I saw my mate at his bottle shop. We kicked back in like his shop for like half an hour. I went to my other mate's house. I was actually just doing shit. I wasn't nervous for this game at all.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
Bro, I don't know how far. See, I don't know if I'm being stupid here. I don't know if this is recency bias, and hopefully, if it is, you can fucking put me in my place. I think we can go all the way. I don't think there's a reason why we can't.
I think I'm liking. I'm trying to think of other teams in the past that have kind of, had momentum swings and or road momentum and road confidence and a bit of luck. Yes, there's us back in 2023, and we arguably had a fair bit of luck go away with those wins against Sydney and Melbourne, but belief carried a long way as well. And I'm trying to think of another team outside of our own sort of four walls, and what I can think of, especially if we finish 10th. But I'm likening it to the Bulldogs when they won the flag. Yep. They were riding that same sort of momentum, the belief, which was massive. It was a massive thing. Like they were able to they were relentless, virtually. That's probably the word for it. Yeah. So I wonder if we can kind of continue on and just keep like the focus that you said you had today is the focus it seems as though we've got from week to week. Like we just lock in. As soon as the game starts, as soon as the ball is thrown up, because it's not bounced anymore, stupid rule. But as soon as it's thrown up, we lock in and like we get the job done. And like we play with belief, we play with each other, that connection piece across the ground. It's like no other. And I think you're right. Like some may call it, a bit of fanciful belief, but I think why not? Why not?
Bro, I'm with you, and I think this is the first time where, like, we're pretty optimistic. There's some supporters that haven't come around yet, and you can tell by the attendance figures. Like, I know it's Sunday night, fucking 43,000. Come on, bro, get to the fucking game. It's $20 tickets, bro. It's not
Exactly.
hard.
100%.
But I reckon the players, and this is also the first time in my life I've seen this. The players believe more than the supporters. Usually we big up our club, bro. Usually we are like, nah, we'll make finals, this and that, blah.
Yeah.
Like we saw like an unhealthy expectation. I feel like the players are way more bought in than we are. I feel like the players know they can go all the way.
Yeah, exactly. It really is something that it's uncharted territory. I think that we're like, again, this is the same list. This is the same list that was 1-8 earlier in the season, or the midway point of the season almost. 1-8. And now we've turned things around and we're positive win-loss ratio. Like, fuck, man. Like, how is that? Like, we had the cattle all along. Like, I remember people questioning, like, we're shit. Players not performing, understand. But we have guys now that have been fast-tracked in terms of development. They've come in. Billy Wilson was unsighted. Wasn't getting games early part of the season. Bunsen Burner, he played a couple of good games. Rightfully went back to the VFL to work on his game. But he's come back into the team, and he's actually adding something to the team. He's arguably our best small forward at the moment since Eddie Betts. Like, his ability. But in terms of what he's adding as a pressure forward, like, then you speak to Frankie Evans in terms of that role as well. Pressure forward, but hitting the scoreboard as well, like doing it both. Not just a Fogarty back in the day that's a pressure forward, laying 5 tackles and not kicking a goal and having, 2 disposals. Like, actually getting shit done and playing a role. Like, it's the turnaround is just, it needs to be studied. I said it last week in the post-match review. This needs to be studied.
Yeah. No, I'm with you 100%. But this is the same team that quit against St. Kilda 12 weeks ago? Whenever we played them.
It's true.
It's the same list, bro. It's the exact same team.
Yeah.
If you look back, like, we had Jacob Wiedering, and that's like the only change. Other than that, but we have the exact same players.
Fuck.
So, like, it's that club, and it's the same club, by the way. Just shout out Kane Corns. So it's like, oh, they're mentally weak.
Oh, yes. Fucking Kane Corns.
Do you know what the Drake curse is in MMA?
I have heard of it, but I don't know the origin.
Okay, it's just like whenever Drake bets on a fighter, whether it's boxing, MMA, whatever, they always lose. He's like I think he's like 1 win and 15 losses when he publicly
Holy
bets.
shit.
Yeah, it's bad. There has to be this thing called the Kane Corns curse. It has to be, because whenever this cunt opens his mouth, 2 weeks later, the exact opposite happens. It's like when he says it, he's correct. When he said we're a weak team, I was like, yeah, well, can't argue with him there, can I? And then 2 weeks later, we just was wrong,
Long may it continue.
Yeah.
We may never lose again, and long may he speak shit about us for an eternity, because we're virtually putting him back in his box, which is great. And yes, just to speak to you there, Jack, 100%. 100%. Look, this is the barometer. He's the man. He's the Frankie Evans of content creators. Is this man? He's infectious, and he brings the best out of me. So how can I not? Always a pleasure. Now, Reno says, Digby Morell is a great coach in the younger leagues. Coaches one of my nephews. Now, must admit, you might remember, this is before your time, because you are a young whippersnapper, Tush, but Digby Morell, he was one of the, I won't call him a shit kicker, but he was one of the players that struggled, that we picked up from North Melbourne. He played with a lot of spirit, but talent-wise, probably not the best. But I used to love him. Just his pure name, Digby. He was a cult figure. You got to look at him, Google him. He was like a bloke that was like mid-20s, but was losing his hair, like fuzzy hair. It looked like he was 40 when he was like mid-20s. Thankfully, I've just got my full head of hair as well, and haven't gone the way of Digby that I was worried about when I was younger. But a classic dude. He does not look like a footballer at all. And there's highlights, or we'll call it highlights, in games back in the early 2000s where he actually had a couple of good games. But yeah, he was someone that I hung my hat on, because he was a trier during a trying era when we had no good players. We had ring-ins virtually, because we had all of our draft picks stripped. Tim says we've had the spine for 10 plus years. Skills and development doesn't come down to coaching short term. Well, you can kind of say that it does, I think, Tim, because look at our skill set now compared to what it was like in the first 9 games of the season. That's not a coincidence. And it's the coach getting the best out of the players. And with that, and I've said it, and a lot of people laughed at me over the past season and a bit, where I was harping on about confidence and there was criticism about our list. And I've always said, players do not lose their talent or their skill set over the space of a season. We're playing with the same playing list, but the key cog to it is confidence. If you don't have confidence, obviously you're not going to be playing to the best of your ability. With that comes losses, compounding things, you'll lose confidence again. And collectively across the board, you look at even our best players, Cripper, Walshy, Weeders, they were having down seasons this year. And it's like, what the fuck? How is that possible? They can't just lose their talent.
Yeah.
But they weren't getting the best out of themselves. The coach wasn't getting the best out of them. Players weren't being played to the best of their ability. Sard, as I spoke about, Chera played off half back over a couple of games as a lockdown defender. Shit like that Voss was doing that wasn't good, wasn't conducive to getting the best out of your list. And it's the same list. This is, a simple, quick study you can do to that point there, Tim. If anyone asks, what impact does a coach have on a player's skill set? Well, compare first 9 games of the season to what we've been producing with Fraser at the helm. Same list, but actually a few young players sprinkled in that you would expect, for them to have some down games because they wouldn't have the confidence to perform at senior level. No. These guys are actually getting some good games under their belt and actually contributing. So a lot comes down to the senior coach. A lot. Now, Rayner's just taking the piss here. What's a motlop?
What's a motlop? Because when Motlop has an All-Australian year next year, I don't want to see any of you jumping on the bandwagon. None of you, right? You pick your side. Stay there.
Yeah. Well, I'm on the side of Bunsen Burner. I'm on the side of, because who goes out?
The
three amigos.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's true. Or there's like Garlett, Eddie Betts, and
Yaron.
Who was the other? Yaron.
Yaron.
Of course. The 3 amigos, the 3 Indigenous boys that absolutely lit it up. They could be it again. They could be it.
Like, we're one of the luckiest teams in the comp. Like, we wasted our spine. We had like Wiedering, Cripps, Mackay, Kerno, and we wasted it. Didn't win a flag. And now we just got a new spine for free. Fucking out of nowhere. Like, we got like
I love a new spine, actually. I've got a couple of bulging dicks, so give me a new spine. A phrase, can he work his magic on me? Turn water into wine, but also give Damon a new spine? Classic.
It would.
Oh, yeah. It's a feel good. Coming of age is probably the the genre for it. Coming of age, it virtually is. Not like an American Pie coming of age, where, Jim's caught in the kitchen, sticking his dick into an apple pie, that sort of stuff. But that's almost what it feels like. Warm apple pie, Tush. Maybe I should call this stream warm apple pie. If you haven't seen American Pie, check it out.
I've seen it. I know what you're talking about. I just can't. I just didn't think that's where this was going.
just go with it. Go with it. That's what I'm drawing the comparisons to when I'm talking about movies. Sunday night after the first AFLW win for the Blues in 2026 was amazing. Better than Thursday night game. Yeah, a weird fixturing, because is this the only women's game for this week? That's it.
Yes.
Like,
yeah, but then later on they'll have like multiple a day.
Okay, because I'm like, I couldn't believe it, because I knew it was a season opener, but then I was like, wait a second, it's a Sunday. I'm like, it's the last day of the round for round 22 for the men's. And I would love to see, and I know they're not going to do it because I don't want to see the women's games be paled in comparison to the men's, but curtain raiser, love it, absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's at the game, people can appreciate, and like a lot of people wouldn't have the chance or may not like to go and see some of the women. It actually forces them in a sense. It's like, check out what they can actually do and like enjoy some women's footy, get around it. And it's an organic way for people to adopt the women's team. So I'd love to see more of it.
But the only reason I went, and like this isn't a knock at the women, I just can't get as invested as I am with the men's team in the women's team. And that's not, I'm not calling, but like
100%.
I went because they're playing before the men. Like, fuck, why wouldn't I go, bro?
Yeah.
It's not an inconvenience. I'm already going there. I'll go.
Exactly, 100%. I'm the same thing because, like, after the men's season, I'm burnt out. Like, being a Carlton supporter probably speaks for itself as to why you're
Yeah.
burnt out. But it's like, I haven't seen the women play live. It would have been the opening game maybe a couple of years ago against the Pies at Princess Park. So yeah, it's a good way for people to be introduced to women's footy.
Right now.
What's a munyak?
Munyak.
Oh, munyak. I don't know. What is that?
Yeah.
Is that Italian?
It's an Arab word. It's very naughty.
Arab.
Chef Jack, come on, cuz. You got to be better.
Oh, he's talking about Motlop. I think he's talking about it.
Probably. Top up player. Well, we're Motlop.
Oh, he's Motlop.
Yeah.
I think you're talking about Dig Morel there. I think that's Diggers.
Okay.
Yeah, surely he's not. He wouldn't be baiting you with that. Ollie Hollands is playing in the Voss mold, just booted anywhere, hoping for Kerno or Harry. The VFL side should have one today. Have one, okay. WON, I think he means. I think he might be doing a voice to text, and it's not coming up. So how did the VFL side go? I mean, apart from Weeders obviously being Weeders, was there anything to note?
We look pretty average.
Yeah.
Like Zach Williams looked pretty good in the first half before he did his, I think, collarbone, or like he hurt
really?
It's either collarbone. They were saying broken collarbone. I don't think so. And then someone said it was a throat, like a Larnex thing. I don't know, bro. But he's out. That was the last game in Navy Blue. I don't think he's not gonna come back for the season. I don't think.
Yeah, he's done.
So, but everyone else, Ollie, I don't know. We're doing this weird thing with Ollie where we play him as an inside mid. Where?
Oh, really?
Like, yeah,
inside mid.
Inside mid. Look at his numbers. He gets like 30 touches, 12 tackles a game. So he's doing okay there. He's doing okay.
Yeah.
Like, he's not bad, but he's not playing AFL as an inside mid. I'm sorry, it's not happening. So
yeah,
it's
weird.
You're
well, exactly right. We've got so many numbers like in that role at senior level. So it's what are we trying?
Well, you know
to
what I'd love to see him play or try and play. We've tried him everywhere. We've tried him on the wing in the VFL as an inside forward. We've tried him off halfback. I'd love to see him play the Cottrell role, the high half forward.
Yeah,
kind of go inside 50 because your bad kicking
call.
can like you can hide it when you're inside forward 50. Not when you're kicking in there, but when you're in there, you can hide it. And on the wing, he can run up and down. That's the way forward for him. But if he can't do that, then just fucking delist him, bro. I'm not attached to Ollie Hollands.
No, nor am I. I think I was hopeful. I mean, when we drafted him, high draft pick, and it's like, the speed and everything else that was spoken about. I'm like, shit, we need players like him with speed and skill set. I'm like, yeah, he looks pretty skillful. But then he's just been found out. He's one of those players that I think hasn't been able to adapt to the pressure of senior footy, not just the speed of the game, but like just the pressure. He just wilts under it, unfortunately, and his disposal suffers as a result. So I think he's had enough time to develop his game, and he just hasn't, unfortunately.
Bro, he's almost at 100 games.
Yeah, exactly right.
But he's had plenty of time. And like, I know there's the human element where, his brother's gone out. It's probably been a hard mental year for him. Like, it's cool. Like, I'm happy to give him 1 year, at most 1 year, and you got to reinvent yourself somehow because these wings are stacked, bro. And unless you turn into a great winger, right now.
Is that one of your classic calls, Adush, that he's referring to?
No, I've never actually said that.
Oh, because he said remember. I'm like, oh, okay. Has it been said in the past?
Or is it just maybe I have said it. I don't know.
I don't know.
I say a lot of things, bro. Like, we win. I don't know.
Exactly. I mean, you're on a bender, so you're not going to remember all this that's being said. Digby and Teague came together from Northland to Pagan. Yeah, that's right. And Teague won a best and fairest in his first year with us, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Yeah, so he was actually pretty serviceable, Teague.
I think it's 2007. No?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And then Corey McKernan actually won best and fairest as well. And then Pagan came across, who he fucking hated, and they didn't get along at all. And then went to shit McKernan that very same season and requested a trade back to North Melbourne. It was like there were ships passing in the night. It's like Pagan comes to us. Oh, McKernan came to us, and then to get away from Pagan, and he became like a superstar for us. I used to love Corey McKernan, and then Pagan came across, and Corey was like, "Nah, I'm heading back where you came from, Pagan, just to escape you." It was quite funny. Reedy, so he had a good game, did he?
Oh yeah, he was sorry. Yeah, he was fucking incredible, bro. He had
Oh,
like
nice.
26 touches, 15 clearances, 15 ground ball gets. He was everywhere. My one criticism of him is he can't mark. He's not. He can't. He's not that aerial threat, But everything else he was fine. But it's also VFL against. I can't even name St Kilda's ruckman. So
Yeah, I don't even know who the other ruckman is.
no
Not sure.
clue. Cuz. No clue.
I was talking about earlier in the stream about because someone was saying obviously when Weeders comes back in, and this is the other point just quickly with Weeders that I forgot to mention with Fraser in his post-match presser, he was like, "Yeah, we'll have a look at selection. And, Weeders will, might be considered to come in." Like it's just classic. Like he's just telling the line of like selection integrity. I'm like, come on, Fraser, he's coming back in. you know full well.
Hey, how big would it be if we don't select them this week?
Oh, like
Bro.
how big is it the fact that we've been winning games without Weeders? Like back to the point I was making earlier, like we don't have to rely upon someone that we've been losing games when he hasn't been in the team. Like fuck, it's just craziness.
Bro, if you told me 12 months ago, hey, Atush, you're gonna, there's gonna be an 8-week span, or like, no, he's been out longer, bro. 11 weeks, 12 weeks. There's gonna be a 12-week span where Jacob Wiedering isn't playing. I'll be like, cool, cuz, meet me at the Westgate. I'm jumping off. Like
I'm done.
Like,
yeah,
I'm good, thanks. And we're like, now it's like he's fit, he's ready, he's playing, he looks good.
Yeah,
he's a bit unfit. He didn't he needed that match fitness game for sure.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
He was like, it's still Jacob Wiedering, yeah. Fucking 50% Jacob Wiedering is better than 80% of the VFL. So
yeah, that's like not since Chris Judd as like coming back from injury has he like a big name player, like a key cog of our team played in the VFL. I'm like fuck in selection integrity. I've got the biggest heart on when it comes to that, like chalk and cheese when it comes to selection. Whatever the opposite word is to integrity is under Michael Voss. It was like the opposite. Rush him back quick. Like Cripper during the COVID year, he had like a broken back and like absolutely busted shoulder. It's like, no, we'll just keep playing him. Don't worry, we'll just keep playing him. Give the poor man a rest. Yeah,
give him injections. Right.
He's all good. He's on one leg. He's lost a leg. No, it's all right. Put him out there.
It's like Rocky. If he dies, he dies, bro. It's all right.
Exactly right. Yeah, if he dies, he dies. Yeah. But with Reedy, we were chatting earlier on about like Weeders obviously will come in, who goes out, and we're chatting about Lewis Young or say a Dirksen. But I was thinking as well, I'm like, well, Lewis Young, I know he's kind of like didn't have the best night tonight, but his past couple of games have been great, like playing as a utility, defense, forward, in the ruck as a pinch hitter. And I'm like, well, we're only playing the Dogs next week, who probably will be without English, probably for the rest of the year. So they'll have like Lob in the ruck, and we probably don't need a secondary ruck. But I'm like thinking ahead to like Freo, Cox, Luke Jackson. Do we maybe think about if we get rid of a Lewis Young, do we maybe bring in a Liam Reedy off some decent form if he has another good game this coming week?
Nah, I'm against it. Look, if
Don't
like
need it?
the whole I trust Lewis Young himself. I know it sounds like Bizarro World. I trust Lewis Young. You never would have heard me say that last year, but it depends who you're bringing in Wiedering for, right? And this is the dilemma for me. Do you bring him in for Dirksen or do you bring him in for Young? Now, Young plays like he's a swing man. He goes up, he goes back. Majority is in the back line, though, most of the time. Dirksen can swing forward too. So I'm not in the four walls. I don't know how good Dirksen is playing that utility / swingman role. If he can do it, I would drop Young, right? And then put Wiedering in the back line and throw Dirksen in that Young role and have him like pinch hit in the ruck as well. If not, then I'm dropping Dirksen because I think Young's that role that Young plays, it frees up Harry Mackay, and you saw it tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he had like presence in the forward 50.
I'm glad you said that because I think a lot of people are quick in the chat anyway to be like, nah, Young out. I'm like, I understand based upon form tonight, but his previous couple of weeks have been great and he's been playing that role. I think his role is understated. Like to be able to pinch it in the ruck and especially in light of Harry having injured his knee. I had my heart in my mouth when he was like pinch hitting in the ruck in his first game back from that knee like injury. And I was like, come on, man. I don't know if she'll be doing this.
Yeah.
But like to have Young pinch hitting in the ruck, as you said, it allows Harry to stay forward more and kick a bag of goals, which we haven't been seeing for a little while. So I think it's an unspoken role and we need role players like him. We really do. Dirksen's been great. And I think someone mentioned in the chat, he's been pinch hitting the ruck as well in the VFL, which is great, Dirksen, early days. But We haven't seen him up forward apart from a brief foray a couple of weeks ago, like late in the game, the last 5 minutes of the game, he was there. I think it was against Gold Coast. And outside of that, he hasn't been played forward, even though he can show that he's done it in the VFL. But yeah, I think you're right. It's something that probably should be factored in a little bit more.
Yeah, but Lewis Young is not there because he's good at football. He's there because he's important to the structure. Like, I don't think Lewis Young is irreplaceable. Like, but you can get 80% of players that can replace Lewis Young. We just don't have one. Other than Lewis Young, we don't have one right now, you know? And to touch on your point that he frees up Mackay, 100%, right? I agree. But there's a bigger domino effect too. When he frees up Mackay, that means the best defender goes to Mackay. And then it frees up McGovern, which then in turn, frees up Kemp. And then frees up...
Exactly, it's domino effect.
Bro, it frees up everyone. Because now Kemp isn't playing on the... Like, bro, there's no mistake. There's no... Like, it's not a coincidence that Kemp kicked 5 against Brisbane when Mackay came back into the squad.
Yep.
It wasn't a coincidence at all, you know?
Yeah.
And tonight, I know I think he had 2 goals too, had 6 shots on goal, something like that. If we're sitting here and he kicked 4 goals, we'd be like, what a fucking game. You know, or even 3 goals.
100%.
You know?
Yep. Just comes down to conversion, but opportunity was there. And that came off the back of Harry coming in, Kemp not having to play as that bloody, that big banana up forward without Harry there. Because, like, we all know that Kemp at best is like a third forward, but like to play as a secondary role, he can do it, and he's shown it in the past. So, yeah, I think you're right. It's just it frees up, and those role players allow that to happen.
So our tall forwards had 10 scoring shots between them. More, probably.
Yeah, okay.
Kemp had, like, out on the fulls and stuff. So, bro, it's fucking... That is how you win games. If they have 10 shots on goal, and then Smalls chip in, Hewitt chips in, the midfielders chip in. That's how you win games. I'd rather do that, bro, than go back to 2023 and have Kerno kicking 80 goals and then the next person be 20.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's the real positive part of the evolution of the team is that, like we were saying earlier, that we're not relying upon a handful of players now. Like we've got enough solid contributors across the team, and that's what Fraser's extracted out. We have players playing specific roles that allow other players to get the best out of themselves, and it's just the domino effect. And yeah, doing very, very well. Rayner's just said, LMAO Atush. English has done an MCL. There you go. So who knows how long he's out for? If he's back, they rush him back. Don't know. But he's had a bit of a trouble with his knee. Earlier this season, he had an issue as well, English. Lewis missed a lot tonight, though. He did. He was off his game.
Yeah.
Would we rest Dean?
No.
Don't think so. I don't think we need to. He's not showing that he's slowing down at all, and he's just an absolute maniac, which we love. He's like you, Tush. He's just like, I reckon he could play like 10 games in a row, like 10 games over 10 days. He would be up for it for sure.
He's a competitor, bro. I think Rayner's talking about he had like a quite more, not even a quiet game to his standards. He didn't have the 15 touches, fucking 7 intercept marks, whatever he usually gets, right? I just think he had a less role because we just performed so well as a team. Like everyone did their job, like he didn't have to be the guy. It's like the same thing with Cripps. Cripps didn't have a bad game. Like he didn't impact, but that's not a bad game. Just everyone else did their job. So he doesn't have to be Superman.
Exactly right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're just so used to him having Superman type games week after week, early days. And now he's got other people that can pull their weight. Bloody hell, still awake. Yes, I think we might wrap up because I've just realised it's 2:30, and I probably should get some sleep because I've probably got to wake up. And I don't know if you're working tomorrow, Atush. Hopefully not.
Nah, cuz I need sleep, bro. I need sleep.
Exactly. Well, I'm going to relieve you of your duty in a moment. Make sure we both get some sleep because my little man will be waking up. Hopefully not too early, but I might try and sneak in around about 6 hours, which would be cool. So still awake, but yes, we're going to bed very, very shortly. Carlton to defeat the Doggies by 29. Well, all we need to do is win. If we beat the Dogs, we're in. But I think even if we, there's Freo in round 24. They may be resting players potentially, like underdone players. We're talking about like Hayden Young. They've got obviously the pre-finals bye as well. But if they want to give players a 2-week rest, they could easily do that. So, and they've already sewn up the minor premiership, I think. So.
Yeah, they have, but also whether they're rest players or don't, we are inevitable. Like we're gonna fucking kill you at Marvel, bro. Like it's like
Exactly.
you do whatever you want. You're just delaying the inevitable.
And how funny is I was chatting with my father-in-law How funny is it that Marvel is now our fortress, where it's been a stadium where we've been struggling to win at compared to the MCG, and now it's the opposite. It's like the MCG we're not really winning games at, but Marvel, it's like fucking it's our home ground advantage, which is crazy.
Bro, it's the energy for me. It's the closed roof. 45,000 sounds like fucking 90,000 at the G. It's it's that the ground's not even that different, and the turf there is terrible, bro. The amount of players that slip and whatever, like it's bad. I don't know why they leave the roof open. They left the roof open today.
Did they really?
Not during the game, but before it. So the fucking ground was wet.
Okay.
It was raining all day.
Oh shit.
So,
that's dumb. They do some dumb shit. They really do. Oh, crazy. Vital says he wants to trade Waders for more speed. I don't think we need any more speed. I think we're getting results as it is. I think a lot of people forget as well that we can't just be throwing the baby out with the bathwater with regards to, solid contributors and key cogs of our spine because we're seeing results. I mean, people back when we were 1-8 were like, I know, but we're kind of like people scattergun approach being like trade Cripps, trade Waders, whatever. But like you think back to when Waders has been our only key, defender across the journey. We've had to play like Lewis Young, we've had to play Marchbank, we've had to play Sam Durden only a couple of seasons ago. Like guys that shouldn't be best 23. Like we don't have the depth to be thinking about trading out. Yes, we've got Harry Dean, but what if Dean gets injured? We're in back to square one again if we don't have Waders there. So we've got I think successful teams have a really nice depth to them. And that's what sustains them across the long haul because injuries are inevitable. They happen. And that's where you kind of need the depth there. And Waders gives us that. And key position defenders of his quality don't grow on trees. So I think we spoke about it in one of the streams where it was like, I think it might have been on Pommy and Oz's, I think, stream. I was in the little chat there. But you can't be getting rid of him unless you get someone like a Ben King in return that fills a hole in our team. Yeah. So that's the only thing that you think about it. But for more speed, hey, we've got Cody Walker coming in. That's the speed right there.
Well, I don't really understand that comment. What do you mean for more speed? Like a defender with more speed or just more speed anyway?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. I don't understand either.
Just to touch on the thing, I wouldn't trade Wiedering, but
no.
If he wants to, like if North call me tomorrow, and it's specifically North Melbourne because they're bottom 6 all the time. There's like 3 certainties in life, like death, taxes, and North being bottom 6. It always happens. That's like 3. If they offer me 3 first-round picks, in a heartbeat, I'm taking it, bro. In a heartbeat. I'm not even thinking twice. I'm like, thank you, Jacob Wiedering, you're gone, cuz. Enjoy being in blue and white.
There's Godfather offers that you would definitely entertain, and some that you wouldn't say no to. So, for sure. But just for more speed, like a throwaway comment. I mean,
fucking
need to be more specific. I think than that. Ozza said, did my 5 days, then 5 weeks off. Is he a on and off worker? Yeah. I don't know.
That's hectic, bro.
Does he work in the mines, or is he a copper or something?
I don't know. No.
Do you work in trades?
Huh? Nah.
Well, that's not like a...
Nah. Well, you can go like 3 months on, 3 months off. Like you can travel somewhere, accommodation's paid for, like 6 months. You do 6 months of work and you come back. It's like contracts. It's not fly out. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's like mine working, isn't it? Or something like that. I know like coppers and stuff do long stretches like that. But interesting. Careful, AFL said the gambling companies are more important and don't rest players. Yeah, fucking retarded. It's so dumb. Like it's up to the team to manage their own team. Like if they want to rest players, who cares? Like the NFL, I don't know if you follow the NFL much, Atush, but it's commonplace there. Like at least 2 weeks out from the playoffs, if teams have already qualified for playoffs, they're resting their best running backs. They're resting their best wide receivers. It's common and it's normal. It's normalized, and there's like an expectation there that's built upon because it happens year in, year out. So it should be a common thing, I think. So,
bro,
I don't know. It's fucking AFL are dumb.
The difference is the NFL is secure with how they make money. They're okay with the money they're making. For some reason, the AFL, even though we're $1 billion company, we are so much like, bro, because if you think about it in terms of like a neutral point of view and like a casual point of view, right? If your favorite player is Marcus Bontempelli and he's not playing around 24 and you know he's not playing, you're not going to go to the game, right? There are supporters like that exist. So it's like a money thing for them. But like also like fucking, bro, it doesn't matter. It's such a non-issue.
Yeah. And how can they prove it? Like they can't prove it with it's such a stupid thing to be like warning teams like, oh, don't you dare try and rest players because it's your right and we're not giving you that right. How are they going to know? Like Pendles has been like for the Pies has been rested for I reckon about 4-5 times across the season to date. Like are they going to pull them up for doing that?
And they did it on
so
purpose,
dumb.
bro, so they can have a home
Yeah.
game for his record-breaking game.
Exactly. Yeah,
So-
it's just fucking so dumb. Marvel Plan C. Vacation, okay. Going abroad for 5 weeks, okay. Loving it. AFL needs to butt out, yeah. AFL just dumb shit. Just put us in there, administration. Like, fuck, we'll get shit done. We'll give the game back to fans, like, well and truly.
Yeah.
Not just kids like get to games for free on Sundays. Like this is fucking. We're gonna make AFL great again. To borrow that stupid phrase from that orange man over in the US.
You know what I would do straight away, cuz if I had any sort of control in the AFL, get rid of reserve seats.
Yep.
Keep the membership
exactly.
ones. Keep the membership ones. Everything else, you buy a GA ticket, bro, $50, and that's the base price. And you first come, first served.
Oh yeah, and none of these fucking corporates and stuff that like the grand final tickets. Like I reckon there's probably about 25-33%, maybe more, of the actual crowd that are made up by corporates that like sponsor the AFL or have some sort of association, and they get priority access. I'm like, fuck you. Like yeah, like paying members, fans, they miss out on grand final entertainment, grand final like spectacle because of these fucking bigwigs in suits. They get free access to grand finals. Like, fuck off. Like, again, money. Money's the driving factor. For an AFL corporation that is not for profit, apparently, yet, and they don't pay taxes off the back of that, yet they want to maximize the dollar in order to fill the pockets of the boys club that run the AFL. Can speak about them for a long while. But for Grim Timmy, thank you again, mate, for the contribution. Don't need to do that. You're very, very kind. He says, I don't think only Carlton is a true fan. What say you to that?
Because I'm fucking mad, bro. If you lived my last 48 hours, you'd realize I'm retarded, bro. Shout out Paul Green. Shout out Reno. I'm something wrong with me.
AFL doesn't own the game. Yep. Well, by extension, the members of the clubs own the AFL because the clubs own the AFL. Without the clubs, there wouldn't be an AFL. And without the members of clubs, there wouldn't be clubs and there wouldn't be an AFL. So by extension, we actually own the game. But the only way that I spoke about it in my previous stream, the only way that they'll actually give the game back to the fans, as they were supposedly going to do under Gil McLaughlin, is if they see a decline in finances, with attendances, in memberships, which hurts the clubs, of course, but you know, ticket sales, all that sort of stuff. That's the only way that they'll actually adjust and be like, oh, wait, we should stop bringing in fucking stupid rules. We should stop bringing in like 20 umpires to umpire one game and convolute the thing. Bringing in extra rules that make the umpiring standard, you know, hard. It's a cavalcade of just stupid shit the AFL do. Club members get shafted on grand final day. Yep, exactly. Corporates, they love them. For Grim, I have to fly over from the US. He's from the US. Are you familiar with Timmy?
Yeah, I know him, yeah.
Yeah,
I
didn't realize he was from the US.
Yeah, he's
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, what a legend. What an absolute legend. He's based in the US as well. Love that.
Yeah.
Good to see. Well, Atush, we might end things there because I don't want to tick over into bloody 3 o'clock and I need some beauty sleep, as you can see, because I'm absolutely as ragged as an old hag. Whereas with you, Atush, you're as sprightly as anything. You're a young whippersnapper, unlike me. So really appreciate you jumping on, mate. And I'm glad you actually must have seen the bat signal or the CFC that I was shining into the sky like the bat signal, and you answered my call and jumped on because I think everyone was just asleep, really, or people that were just you always have the legends that love to contribute via the chat, which is awesome. We tried Chef Jack. Now I don't know if Chef Jack has been on stream with you, but his setup always creates an echo, and I don't know what it is, but every single time I talk, it echoes back through it like reverbs.
Yeah.
And he uses like a software of some sort, which I think conflicts with StreamYard. So I don't know if do you use StreamYard or do you use Restream or one of those?
I use Restream. So I was big
Restream,
on StreamYard, but fucking too much, bro. Like $60
it
a
is.
month. You know,
is Restream cheaper?
It's $20 a month, bro. $25.
Holy shit! I'm
Jump
fucking
on,
off.
bro.
Sorry, I'm They might ban me. I might cut the stream right now that I've said this. But, I reckon StreamYard, but I would be bidding farewell to you because it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for just streams. A couple of streams here and there. So I might be following you across to there.
Because I'll send you a referral code.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Send it my way and give you a kickback for sure. AFL made their cash off those COVID vaccines back in the day. Yeah. Come on, Blues. Well, Atush, as we round things out, any closing remarks?
Other than get down to next fucking week. I know it's Sunday 3:15, but if you're in a position to get down to the game, I know some people genuinely aren't, but if you are and you're umming and ahhing and it's a minor inconvenience, shut up, bro. Get to the game.
Yeah, there's no excuse. Get there. It's not a 7:20 game anymore. Like, I probably understand tonight, like for those that aren't nuffy, rusted on supporters or members like us, and you've got to work the next day. But like, there's no excuse. Sunday game. It's, middle of the arvo, get down. And if we win this game, we're in. We're wildcard, baby. We're there. We are wild. We are free, and we can feel the wildness.
Fuck, I haven't even thought of it like that.
Yeah,
that is a lock-in game against the Dogs. Wow.
It is. The Dogs could actually fall out of wildcard contention. If they lose this game and then lose their last game against Melbourne, I think they play. Might be.
Wow.
I recall, but they're up against it. They could actually fall out of the wildcard contention. St Kilda could get a reprieve, or the Giants are still actually in contention, but I think their percentage is just a little bit out. But there's still a live chance as well. But craziness, absolute craziness.
Yeah.
There you go. Oz, good night to you, kind sir. Thank you for joining us. Likewise, Rainer. He's our number one ticket holder here around these parts, so I really do appreciate your love and support, mate. Every time he sees I've gone live, bang, he is there. He's got me, like, talking about bat signals, like he sees a live bat signal in the sky, he's like, fuck, I'm there, live stream. Yeah. So I appreciate him. He is an absolute legend. Timmy, likewise to you, Oz. If I've missed Vital, anyone across the journey that has tuned in at some point tonight, appreciate all of your love and support. And Rainer, night one. Night to you, good sir. He says, lol. And Rainer, just before we sign off, I'm always intrigued. Where is your avatar from? Is it a comic? Is it a certain character? I've been trying to piece as to who it is. I've been meaning to ask you. It seems like it's some sort of comic book character, or is it an AI-generated thing, or I don't know where it's from. But Rainer as well, oh, look at this. Gee whiz. Atush, you are all across it.
All right, let's see. Ready?
Let's see if it.
It is the Grey Ghost from the animated series Batman.
Oh, there we go. So he's actually that's a good beware the Grey Ghost. That is a good analogy I've used. Talking about the bat signal in the sky. That's the reason why you're answering it, Rainer, because you're actually in tune with the bat signal and Batman. Who would have thought? Very nice. There he is. He's answered it there. But you've actually beaten him to the punch there, Atush.
Yeah.
You're on a finger on the pulse, as you always are, mate. And thank you once again for joining us and jumping on. And mate, enjoy your sleep. Sweet dreams of the Baggers win, just of Baggers in general.
Because I'm gonna fall asleep to the replay. I'm gonna have the replay playing. Just while I'm
you know what we're doing tomorrow? So it's daddy daycare day for me tomorrow. On Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, I've got my son. And try and work in between. Otherwise, Wednesdays and Fridays for me are kind of my editing days for clients. But we're going to be watching, and it's now a part of our routine. Every time the Baggers win, which is more often than not, thankfully, we put it on for our little man, Felix, and we watch the replay. In fact, I don't know if you saw on my Bluebaggers Edge Instagram, which for people tuning in, check it out, Bluebaggers Edge. There's a video that I've recorded of him dancing to the Carlton theme song. He's literally holding onto like his little playpen and dancing back and forth. And we got him to say, because he says dad, dad, we've been getting him to say da, 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 da. This kid, he's got no choice. He's indoctrinated already. 1 year old.
Oh, love it. Dad of the year, honestly.
Oh, thank you. And mum of the year as well. Because without Ash, because of course she's a nuffy Carlton lady herself, he's got no choice. If he comes home one day and says, Mum, Dad, I want to follow Collingwood, we're going to say, we're going to unfollow you as parents. Sorry, son, you're out of the house.
Just exchange him. Take him back from hospital. We want a new one.
I think we made a mistake here. I think you gave us the wrong one. Is a refund policy?
Ugh.
Oh, classic. No, we love a little man, and yeah, he's it's virtually religion, so he's going to be loving. I can't wait to take him to his first game. That is going to like fill me with so much love and joy to see him enjoy what we enjoy with the Baggers, and hopefully our run continues. And he knows nothing else apart from the phrase, "We may never lose again." Is that a tush? We're going to bid you farewell. Thank you so much. Thank you, Raina. Thank you, always Vital, and of course Oz. Rossline has been sacked. Okay, interesting.
Good. Anti-football.
At 2:45 a.m. Exactly. Get rid of him. Get him out of here. Thank you again, ladies and gents. Thank you, Atush. Appreciate you, mate. And we'll try and catch up as well. Slide into my DMs. Let me know when you're keen for a collab, even though we've kind of done it already. But on your channel, would love to jump on and do a collab, mate. So let me know what suits, and I am there.
Sweet. Done. Love you, Damo.
Thank you, lads. No worries. You too, mate. And have a good sleep. Ladies and gents, thanks as always. And go Baggers.
We may never lose again. The hat off. Bro.
Never lose again. That's it. Hat off. We're out of here. We never lose again. I've got hair. Oh, my God.
Have you ever heard